Coming to you from the Blue Crew Studios in Temecula, California, it's the Whiskey Throttle Show, bringing you inside the lives and careers of industry leaders and legends pushing forward in action sports. Yamaha has been setting the standard in two-wheel and four-wheel fun for decades. Yamaha is always out front innovating and focused on reliability and performance. Join the Blue Crew today. Get yourself a Yamaha. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by motorsport.com. There's no need to even leave your home anymore if you need gear, you need parts, you need products, anything around your riding and racing hobbies. Go to motorsport.com, order it up online, and it will be quickly and conveniently shipped right to your home without even leaving your driveway. Get over to motorsport.com and make your next ride your best ride. Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear, they've got the brand new Scout line in GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Rockform, creators of the world's strongest magnetic phone case. They have mounts for your car, motorcycle, and bicycle, as well as universal mounts to adhere your phone to any surface. They also have screen protectors, power banks, stands, chargers, and more. And don't forget the G-Rock wireless golf speaker. Magnets adhere this powerful speaker to your cart, or any metallic surface for that matter, so you have tunes while you golf, work, or hang out. Rockform, always innovating the phone case market. Rockwell designs all their sunglasses in their U.S. headquarters in Utah. Then they are manufactured in Italy using the strictest craftsmanship standards, ensuring you get the best pair of sunglasses you've ever owned. From men's and women's designs, floatable, alloy frame, and a UV 400 rating, which blocks out 100% of UV rays, Rockwell has everything you need for you and your family. Use our code WT20 for 20% discount at checkout at rockwelltime.com. Hey, thanks for joining us here at the Blue Crew Studio, guys. We've got an awesome guest today. I've been after this guy for a while to get him in and finally got him on the West Coast. Factory Yamaha dude, raced at the highest level, won a Supercross Premier Class main event, which is a very short list of people that do that. Just an absolute legend now in free riding and all kinds of other stuff, hill climbing, you name it. Josh Hill, dude, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Stoked to have you, man. It's been, you've just got such an interesting story. I was talking off camera and I'm like, let's just start recording because I want to capture all this. But you're like one of these dudes who just keeps reinventing yourself. And you and your brother both, I feel like the thing about you that like really, when I think about you guys, you just do shit your own way. You know what I mean? You don't conform to like, well, okay, this is what everyone else has done. I'm going to follow this path. And we'll get to why I think that as we go through some of your stuff. You just had some really interesting moves that worked, like you made it work, but I'm like, that's not the normal path, you know? So anyway, I'm a big fan of you and your brother both, just for the people that you are and the way you do your shit. I love it. So
I appreciate that. I was always a fan of you growing up and everything you've done past motocross too.
Oh, well, that's sweet of you, man. Well, let's get into it here. We start with the motorsport.com gate drop, guys. Anything you need for your bike, gear, parts. We all crash. You break a lever, pick up some arc levers over at motorsport.com. Anything you need, they'll ship it right to you. The guys are great. Tell me what you're up to lately, because I can't follow all the. I mean, Instagram's just the way I follow you mostly, but like you're doing hill climbs, you're doing hill jams still cranking, you're doing free ride stuff. I just saw you at Axel's. Like you're constantly on the go, man. What are you up to?
This year was kind of fun. I just I started out, I didn't really have a solid plan on what I was going to do, other than we try to do the big hill jam event every year, just trying to grow that as sort of a grassroots kind of motocross festival. We try to have best whip, bring in freestyle guys, and then either we'll do a hill climb race and a pit bike race, or this year we did a actual motocross race and try to get a pro purse and all that kind of stuff. And then I try to just free ride around that. And then I raced a bunch of arena crosses this last winter, and I'd never really done that. And that was a fun experience. Stark came in and got involved with the AMA series, and then I was doing the Redline series, which is now part Zilla. So I was just on the East Coast. There's quite a bit of arena cross stuff going on, and I didn't want to travel that much. Like the couple years before, I was traveling a ton, And at 23, 24, I was like, I did all Supercross. I did the SMX playoffs. I did Australian Supercross, World Supercross, some French races. Like I had like maybe 3 weekends at home.
It's crazy.
And it was really cool, but I kind of got back to focusing on some of the video project stuff, because nowadays the riding video and the content side of things is more what my sponsors want to see. Like they don't want to see some old washed up dude getting 12th, you know, like, I mean, maybe once in a while, but not for, 17 weekends straight. So,
well, and everything, it's, the sport's changed so much. Just period. Like it's changed so much. The media, the way people consume content has changed so much. And yeah, you can make a living. Like guys like you and Axel can go out and just do the stuff you guys are doing is so gnarly. Yeah, people will pay to, be associated with that. Some of the stuff you guys do is just, it's crazy. How much, and what we're going to talk more about that later on, but I'm wondering how much time you and Justin spend together anymore. Like in 23, we were just talking about, you did the whole series with Tedder, you two both, and you weren't really intending to do that, but what about now? He's in Wyoming, you're in North Carolina. Do you guys even connect that often?
Yeah, I try to as much as I can. Like he'll come out, and whenever I'm doing the hill jam thing, he usually comes out and helps me, and then I try to come out and rebuild his track once a year out in Wyoming and just try to help him out a little bit. I mean, we try to cross paths as much as we possibly can. I love spending time with my brother, but, he's got a family now. I'm married now. I live in North Carolina. He's in Wyoming. We usually just try to, I'll come to his races as much as I possibly can and just try to, just be an outside set of eyes for him. And
yeah.
That's about it. Like this week, he's coming down to California, so I'm going to try to go out and help him with some testing stuff. More so just give my opinion on the direction he's going. If I think like, hey, maybe revisit this or, just ride with him and see where he's at.
Dude, it's actually a great concept and idea. The Lawrences have been doing that. I don't know if you've watched them at the Nationals, but they would go out on press day and ride each other's bikes because they are the same weight. They set their bars and levers the same position, so they can just interchange bikes real easily. So they'll make a change on one bike, and then they'll each ride it and go, oh, yeah, that's better, or no, I don't like that. Each of them can make a decision.
Yeah,
and I'm like, what an advantage, dude. So, yeah, same. You've got a lot of experience testing bikes. He can definitely gain something from you.
If he rides my Yamaha, though, we can't let him do that. He's not going to want to give it back. So
yeah, we got to keep him off that unless he wants to start winning.
No, I know all the bikes are so good now, but
but it's weird. Like you grew up with him, you guys were so tight, and then you get to this age, and it's like you said, you both start families. You're opposite ends of the country, and not really following the same series anymore. It's got to be kind of weird.
It's funny, though, even when we were racing together, like at the same time, like I would be in the 450, he'd be in 250. We never really got to train together then. Like, he would be at the Cowie track and I'd be at the Suzuki track, or he'd be at KTM. And we didn't ever really get to train and run it together that much, because even when I was amateur, Justin was kind of like, every once in a while, he would just show up to World Mini and just win every single moto. Like he out of nowhere, he'd just be doing the worm, like dancing, like he like doing the sprinkler, like Bubba dropping his bike. And then the next year, he'd like miss his moto, like playing like toy dirt bikes with his buddies, and like he would be take it serious, not take it serious, and like. And then, like when I turned pro, he was didn't even seem like he was much into racing. Like he broke his ankle really bad, like at the growth plate at kind of like that wrong age, and kind of didn't even know if he was going to race. And then, he was probably like, when he was like 15, he just turned it on. And I remember going to Mammoth to watch him race, and he went, I think he won, you'd have like schoolboy and then 450B or open B or something. They'd be back-to-back motos. And I'm pretty sure he went out and won both back to back. Like I was holding his bike at the line, and I was like, okay, he's serious now. Yeah. He's always
a little bit of a Malcolm Stewart vibe, like
a lot. Yeah. I mean, he was running around just getting everybody's jerseys and just like, he making his rounds around the pits. I mean, if you look at GL's championship photo, like Justin's in like my team shirt that's like way too big, and he's just like hanging in the photo, like he's one of the boys.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, it's funny.
Huh? That's interesting. I thought you guys were kind of closer together. I guess you're right, though. You'd be at different tracks and even doing the same sport, you're kind of on your own path.
Yeah, we're 6 years different in age. So, when I was 17 and, turning pro, he was still only 11. And he was, I think a lot of the focus was on me when we were young. And then I think when I kind of moved out and got off on my own, then my dad, started spending a little bit more time working on the basics with Justin and just kind of fine tuning him. And then he turned into an animal. And, he's funny too, because I guess he gets kind of a strange rap, I guess, for like his training, but sometimes like he trains like an absolute animal. So it's
I just think, like I said, you guys do it your own way. Like his little boxing warm up routine, even that, it's like, what's this guy doing over here? But it works for him, and he has his own thing, and it's cool. He's his own dude, man. Like, from playing music to just the way he goes about things. And I love it. It's so cool that you don't get pushed into a box,
For better or for worse.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of wish I could be a guy that just shut my brain off when I was younger and just went to the training facilities and just kept my mouth shut and stayed focused. And, if I think I would have done that, I think if both of us did that, we'd probably both be multi-time champions. But, I don't know. I think we're kind of just products of my dad, and he was.
Is he that way?
Well, no, he was a freestyle BMX rider. He rode for like GT and Dyno and Converse, and he's got like freestyle BMX covers. I think he's on BMX Plus. I don't remember which. He's like his claim to fame is he invented the turn down. That's what everybody around him and in that era says. So
wow.
And and then he raced dirt bikes and he was really good. Like he never went pro, he never called himself a pro, but
what was his first name?
Monty Hill. So he was kind of big into BMX in the mid to late 80s, and then but he was riding vert ramps. That was his main thing, and it was before there was X Games and all that kind of stuff. So,
dude, we had Eddie Fiola in here. I'll have to show you. He signed a book and stuff for me from Rad. He was the rider in Rad.
Yeah.
Freestyle BMX legend, and it was really cool because I was very, very little. I was born in 75, so I was like 10 when he would have been crushing it, right? But I still remember those guys, Mike Dominguez, like all of the battles and the rivalries and watching that stuff. So I wonder if I've seen him. Or like, I probably caught him on something and just didn't know.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he was pretty rad. He still is.
You still pretty close with Pops? You both?
Oh yeah. We all, families in motocross, you have your ups and downs, and just the older I get, the cooler he is. The more I appreciate the things that he did and the sacrifices, and just they had me young. My parents were young when they had me, probably like 20 and 19 or 19 and 21. They were. And then by the time I was 3, they were 4 or 5. We were just at the track every single weekend, and then chasing amateur nationals. And my dad's buying a dyno, trying to figure out how to make my, it's just, they completely committed.
Right there. He bought a dyno to do his own, do his own work on your bike. That's nuts. Like, no one does that.
Well, when you're in Oregon, there's no real industry up there. You got bike shops, and there's some really good people at bike shops, but you don't have, it's not like here where your bike's slow. Like, well, let's take it down to this guy down the street.
Yeah, right.
So he just I was right at that point where I was starting to win. Basically, if I was in the top of my age group, I'd win almost every single class. But then I was a year younger than Alessi and Millsaps. So those guys, like when I'd be like the year younger in the class, I'd always be chasing those guys. Those are always the carrot in front of me. And then same with Villapoto. He was a year older than me too. So on a local level, me and Villapoto and a guy named Justin Keeney,
I remember Justin Keeney. We rode for TLD in what, 08?
Yeah, he was
right.
Probably. Yeah, he was really good. He rode for the Buku team too when they had the reality show.
Yeah.
With I think Villeman was on it.
Villeman, yeah.
Yeah, but Justin was an amazing rider. And,
I didn't know he was from your area.
Yeah, he grew up in just outside Albany, Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. All right, well, I'm ready to get into your story here more. Let's dive in. Hey, I want to remind you guys, get over to whiskeythrottlemedia.com if you haven't. We've got moto, off-road, dual sport content, all kinds of stuff. new merch, which you can shop for on there. So check it out. Our guest story is brought to you by Yamaha. And it's like Josh said, if you want to win, get on a Yamaha. Otherwise, good luck. Yoncalla, Oregon. Always been there, right? I mean, that was where you're born?
I was born in Portland, and then we lived just on the other side of the border over in like Vancouver area. La Center was actually the town that I grew up in.
Oh, okay.
Well, Camas, right next to Washougal.
Oh, damn,
in
right
La
there,
Center. Yeah. And then we lived there until I was 14, and I used to have the sickest Supercross track in the backyard because my dad, like I said, he was gnarly, and he would always just build the biggest jumps that he could, and then kind of build stepping stones for me to figure out how to do that stuff. And when I was a kid, I didn't really want to go pro. My parents asked me, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I just want to be a junior that jumps everything." I didn't.
You just wanted to jump.
I just wanted to jump, and I grew up I was 5 years old when I seen Krusty. I wasn't even supposed to watch it. I was supposed to be in bed, and I was sneaking outside my window, just catching my first whiff of White Zombie in the Krusty life. Just still remember giving me goosebumps. This is.
I want to go to a Pimp and Hope.
Yeah, no, I just I just wanted to jump and love that stuff. Terra Firmas, all those movies.
What was it like growing up right next to Washougal like that? I mean, the whole freaking sport comes to your town once a year. I guess you would have had Smale, McCormick, Ryan Huffman. You had some legit guys that you could look up to right there in your backyard, huh?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you kind of got to see the parity between all those guys, really, and the different routes they took. And then, McCormick was probably, I guess he would have probably had the best results, I think, throughout on the pro scene. But watching Ryan Huffman ride was that guy was really, really talented on a motorcycle, and I learned a lot from being around him. And he would even, just let me come hang out at Washougal and just help me out. I think that's why I was never really scared of whoops. I mean, he was like, "Yeah, just come out and click fifth," and yeah, he taught me a lot. He taught me how to be gnarly for sure. Helped it. My dad was the type of guy that he pushed me really hard, but in a really solid way. He'd never tell me I could do something if I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And even a lot of times if he told me I couldn't do something, I tried it anyways, I usually got hurt. He was really spot on with his
assessment of it.
Yeah, assessment of what was going on and trying to the risk management side of things. But he always wanted to push me, so it was.
That's how cool. I feel like that's how you learn. I heard someone say, "Do dangerous things safely."
Yeah,
and that's a really good formula for success. And I think that's true. If you're try to avoid getting hurt too much, you're just gonna be a pussy.
Yeah.
I
mean, if kids were jumping BMX bikes in the parking lot, my dad was like, "Go hit that thing. You got that." It was the complete opposite of most parents, You
don't have any kids yet, right?
No, I don't have any kids yet. Justin's got a couple, but not me.
Yeah, it's different. I mean, I have girls, but I look back at my dad and because it was the same. He's like, "You can jump that, bud. Come on," and he didn't really ride much. So he didn't know what he was talking about. He saw another kid do it. He goes, "Well, he can do it. You can do it." And probably he was right a lot of time, but I can't imagine pushing my kids that hard. I think it's an era thing. Our parents grew up I think we're just progressively getting a little softer, right? And so the farther you go back, dads were just like, "Don't be a pussy, son. Get it," And I just can't imagine telling my girls. I try to let them do a lot, but to say to my kid, "Hey, go send that double." I don't know, man. The stuff we were doing is pretty big.
Yeah, but think about how good that feeling was when you'd conquer something that had you terrified.
It's unreal.
Not a better feeling in the world when you make a step that you didn't even know you could make, and you do it safely and successfully. That was I think the addicting side of it for me. I loved it.
But when it's your kid, there's a protective side that comes out when you're a parent, and it would be very tough for me to get through that and go, just every week be pushing them to go harder and faster. It would be tough.
Yeah.
So I got a lot of respect for parents that do that. And like you kind of mentioned, as you got older, you realize all the sacrifices your dad made. Think of the money they spent, dude, going to Loretta's for that whole week and the time and just, it's crazy, dude.
Yeah, I mean, if I didn't have my grandpa, he ran a tool business, like a new and used tool shop, and he loved it. I mean, he was
Grandpa did.
all about it. So he'd let my dad take off work and go just take me around. I mean, that once I started to get good, my grandpa was so about it. I definitely wouldn't have been anything without his support. You know, it's a whole family thing. And if my parents didn't have the commitment level that they did, I mean, yeah, it is stressful. They're putting pressure on you and you're young and you don't understand why. I mean, like, I remember, like, I didn't care if I won, you know, when I was a kid. If I won, I won. That was awesome. But if I didn't care until I got back and was told that wasn't good, you know. You don't really I didn't even really have any, like, winning edge, you know, like, mentality until I was like 13, 14. Even then I didn't really have it. Like, if I got beat and it was by one of my buddies, I was like wanting to congratulate him, you know. And then as I was getting older, my dad's like, hey, just stay over here. You don't need to go talk to him. You know, like, if I got beat, and I'm like, what are you talking about? I just didn't have that, like, that drive, that heart for it as much as other people did. I think I was just.
You were like an FMX guy or a free ride guy from the start. Like, that was kind of your vibe, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I was good at racing, though.
Yeah.
Like, so it was, and there was no outlet for any of that.
Yeah.
Like, to get, I mean, I felt like even when I was growing up, I mean, Deegan and everybody that was a freestyle guy, like, pretty much was a racer first.
Yeah.
So I didn't really see any other way. And, I mean, racing was good, and we were winning a lot, and it was, you know, I won a lot of stuff as an amateur. So it was.
Yeah, dude. Well, we're going to get to it. I got all your Loretta's results, and I was blown away. But first, what were you into before dirt bikes? Was there anything? Did you play other sports or anything? Or this was like, it sounds like Dad got you. As soon as you could keep your balance, you were riding.
My dad got his dirt bike again because he quit doing BMX. I think just, you know, life on the road, newly married, new kid. I think he kind of got guilted out of chasing his BMX career. Probably wasn't paying that good at the time. So then he started a welding company and then just got himself a RM250 and started going to the track. So I was basically just like born at it and just thought dirt bikes were the coolest thing. And I mean, there was never, dirt bikes and BMX bikes. I mean,
that's all you remember.
He had me on a bicycle with no training wheels at 2. And he told me if I could ride a bike with no training wheels, he'd get me a dirt bike. And then my grandpa surprised me with a dirt bike when I was 3, and I'm riding around in the middle of Portland streets on a JR50. Those are my earliest memories are dirt bikes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's. Do you guys have any other siblings? Just you and Justin?
No, it's just me and Justin.
Okay. Do you remember your first race? Did you guys race right away, or was it kind of just riding for fun for a while?
I mean, yeah, I was racing because, like, there wasn't practice days all the time. You know, you had race weekends. That was the only time you really rode up in Oregon, or maybe there'd be a Wednesday practice somewhere. But
was PIR? Were you guys go to PIR back then? Was that
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, PIR, Albany, Washougal, Mountain View, Woodland. I don't know if any of those tracks ring a bell, but those were the
Mountain View. Was Mulkey Park still there? Do you remember that?
No, my dad grew up there. Okay. I think that's where he had his first ever race, was Mulkey, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I came over from Montana and did a race there when I was on 60s, like 85 maybe.
That's where you're from originally, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That track was badass.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. Do you remember Rick Simmet? You remember that name?
I know the name, but yeah.
He was I think he was Oregon guy, but so fast, dude. So fast. I don't know what happened. Like, there was a group of guys. Lowell Thompson was from Idaho. Rick Simmet, Butch Smith. These guys were like so badass on mini bikes, and then just kind of like Eddie Hicks. Like, just, I don't know, something happened in that transition to big bikes and pros, and they didn't make it. I think Lowell maybe got into drugs. You know, there's 1,000 different ways to get derailed. And a lot of it's that little real estate down in a girl's pants that throws a lot of guys off. You know how that goes. Okay, so first race, what was it?
I don't remember if it might have been Albany. That's probably my first race, I think. But I was like 3. I mean, I don't know if you can even really call it racing. Like, I knew that my cousin rode that was older than me, and all I knew is my dad was just always yelling at him to stand up. So I never sat down. Like, I mean, I looked like a trials rider. I was going so slow. I think my dad had like the stop on the bike to where it was probably just fast enough to make it over all the obstacles. And I mean, I was dead last. I wasn't, it's not like I just started out and I was some amazing dirt biker. I was a squid that could barely ride. And then, but I just loved it, you know, and
dude, that's hilarious. You heard him yelling at your cousin and you're like, oh, okay, I'm going to stand.
Oh yeah. I look at the old videos. I literally look like a trials rider. Like I'm like standing up, like navigating ruts, like going 2 miles an hour.
That's great. You got to have some pictures of that, right?
I have some stuff somewhere for sure. My mom kept a pretty good log of stuff.
Who was like kind of in your squad back then that you grew up riding with?
A guy named my dad always rode with a dude named Mike Storm a lot. And then there was the Metzlers. We grew up around them a lot. Mike Quarter was a bit older than me, and our families, we'd kind of travel together.
I remember that name.
Ainsley's, let's see. And then, you know, direct competition, it was like, you know, Ryan Villapoto was a little bit older than me, Justin Keeney, like we talked about. We traveled around a lot together. There was a kid named Sean Haberlock that was really fast on mini bikes. Like he would battle with me in Villapoto locally, and then he ended up having a crash, and I think he broke his neck on 80s at the Loretta Lynn qualifier and kind of derailed his, you know, his bid at you know, taking this stuff on. But he was a really good rider. Chris Johnson was also really good. Landon Courier was a couple years younger than me, but our families, we all traveled together. I mean, back then, like the Northwest, we'd all try to park next to each other at the races, and you know, we'd kind of travel in a pack. You know, when you're driving 42 hours to Loretta's or whatever it is, you know, you try to stick together.
It's better to have go in a crew in case something happens to somebody.
Yeah.
I feel like the Pacific Northwest is like it's got a good tight knit vibe. You know, like everybody up there kind of has a good time, takes care of each other. Like when I've gone up for the Nationals, a little bit of a different scene, but like if I went up for the 125 Dream Race that Joey Lancaster puts on, or I don't know, just any event up there. I went to the PIR event this year. Just, I don't know, it just seems cool. Like good people, and they love moto. Like the people that are in it love it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, when I was young, there was like, I think when I was like 13, there was like 6 or 7 indoor tracks throughout the winter that you could go to. I remember like Buddy Antonez and like Brad Hagstedt would be like training for arena cross up there in, you know, September before the series would start, because there'd be so many tracks. And a couple of them were pretty legit style, you know, big jumps, big whoops, all that kind of stuff. Jay Whipple would take me out and train me out there and get me with the fast guys when they'd be in town. And yeah, it was, I mean, it was looking back, I don't know if it's even the same in many places. Like the racing community was big, and they, you know, week in, week out, there was a lot of people that would go to the next race, go race each other, you know, like,
yeah,
we'd kind of travel between the, you know, the Portland area and Seattle area. And yeah, it was really good. And I mean, it's still got a solid scene up there. And I think the guys at PIR are doing a really good job. You know, the guys at Washougal do an awesome job. Albany. I mean, there's a bunch of different little pockets. They're all, you know, an hour and a half away. You got to travel when you live out there.
Yeah.
You don't just stay in your
Not a ton
zone.
of close stuff. Yeah. For competition.
Yeah.
Who were the riders you were looking up to as a kid? Like when you started getting into it, obviously when you're really little, you weren't even probably paying attention, but as you started to see like, hey, I'm pretty good at this. Were you looking at local pro guys? Were you watching like, I guess I don't even know who would have been racing at that time. When were you born?
I was born in 89. So when I was, you know, 5, 6, 7, I mean, that's when I watched every single race that came on TV. I mean, it was always a tape delay, and you'd have to try to find it. You know, it'd come on at midnight a week later or something. But yeah, I try to record on VHS every single race that came on, and I just loved it. So I mean, 90. I think I went to Seattle Kingdom in like 93. When it was probably my first time. I was like 3 or 4 years old, and then I was going to Washougal National. I remember being there in like 95, 96. I think I was there that year. Emig had that big get off on I think he was on a Yamaha coming over that roller. They made it into a triple step up. It used to be the old start, and you go right, and then it was like a tabletop and then a scrub single.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
And then 96 when the crowd went crazy and there was like people were bringing trampolines into the infield and rolling cop cars. I remember being in a box van just hearing the madness going on and as a kid then. And yeah, so I mean McGrath was, he was the best guy then, obviously. And then I just
like a Larry Ward fan?
I did like Larry Ward because my dad grew up racing around Larry Ward, on mini bikes. He, if you asked him, we never raced, but my dad sells himself short. But yeah, he grew up around him, so we were Larry Ward fans. I was there in '99 at the last Kingdom race when he won.
You were?
Yeah. And I was thinking about it because I watched that race back the other day, and I still remember we went there early for practice, and we're walking around the track, and my dad's like, you could jump this stuff. Like, kind of tell, like, that was the first time I ever started, like, sizing up triples and, like, looking at it as,
How
like,
old were you?
Like 9.
Oh.
Well, I mean,
really little.
I did some big stuff when I was young. Like, my dad, there wasn't a jump that somebody else did that I didn't do.
That's still kind of true today.
So, yeah, that was... Yeah, that 99 watching Larry. Yeah, I was a Larry Ward fan. I was a big Albertine guy. I really liked Albertine. I liked everybody. I remember I made like toy dirt bikes, painted them up for John Dowd and Doug Henry, and went to like our local Longview Motorsports bike signing and gave them to them. And those guys were so nice. So I just always liked everybody that was nice to me. Yeah. That I got to meet and was really cool. I didn't really care about who. I mean, McGrath was kind of dominant at that point. Yeah. So. It's kind of sad, but anytime somebody's dominant, you always tend to not really, in the moment, root for them, I guess. Yeah. But obviously, I mean, McGrath had a huge influence on me as a kid, for sure.
Totally. Yeah, it's like Jet now. There's a lot of people rooting against him, but it's like, I don't know why, other than he's just really good.
Yeah, so they're so good, they make it, they make it sometimes boring, I guess, is what.
Yeah, it's fun to root for the underdog, right?
Yeah.
I think everybody's got a little bit of that. So you guys got serious right away. I mean, I told you I pulled up all your results here. This is first year you went to Loretta's was 98.
Yeah.
Which is this 7 to 9 65 class. So I mean, by the time you were 7-8, you were good enough. You were going to Loretta's, and you freaking won. Well, no, you won in 99 the next year. You got a 6th, and then you won the next year.
Yeah, 98, I went to Ponca the weekend before, and I won every single moto, like, going away. And then I went to Loretta's. I won the first 2, and then the last one, it was, like, my first Loretta's experience. And it dumped rain, like, just monsoon. And then I remember some kid, like, ghost rode his bike into me, and I did on accident, just... And I think I got I just had this one moto when thought I had the championship locked up, and I just folded. And then, so that was a learning experience for me then.
The mud at that place. I mean, you guys are probably used to mud up riding in the Northwest, but the mud in that place is crazy. The humidity, the mud, the ruts, it can catch people off guard, if you're not ready for it.
Yeah.
But dude, you won right away, and you won 9 freaking titles at Loretta's. Is that a record?
No, it was second. I was tied with Carmichael, and I think Alessi had 11, and there was two of them that I went like 1-1 DNF. So it was like I was real close to having the most, but 9. Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. What was it? I mean, you must be good with dealing with pressure, or what? I mean, you seem to be like clutch.
My dad, the way we trained like animals as kids.
Really?
Like, yeah, because we grew up in Oregon, Washington, where it wasn't hot. So all summer long, like, I lived in thermals and jacket. Like, when I went to the track to train in the middle of summer, I was after our first year going to Loretta's, because I went to Loretta's and seen how gnarly it was and threw away the championship after going like 1-1. And so the next ever since then, like, because I was always kind of like a little bit of a chubby kid, like, always, I don't know, I guess I just loved sweets and stuff when I was a kid. I always just had a couple of pounds to drop. And from like 9 on, I mean, my dad, I was running, I was bicycling up hills, I was, push-ups nonstop. I mean, my dad.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, it was to the point, like, we'd get to Loretta's, and my dad a couple of years was having me run like this 4 or 5 mile loop at Loretta's in that same sweatsuit, like, at Loretta's in the heat to like, he's like, you're going to have a helmet and, heavy gear on. He's like, it's going to be the same thing. So I trained way harder than any kid around me at an amateur level. And so then I went there, and I think kind of mixed with my attitude of, I guess it never bothered me to lose. I never really, my skill would just show. I did the work. I'd go out and I'd just win, and I wouldn't stress it.
Yeah.
And that's
super interesting, dude. Were you like aware of that at the time, or were you just kind of doing your thing? And because I just was reading something in this book about Kobe Bryant. They asked him, are you more afraid of losing, or do you want to win so badly? Is that what made you good? And he goes, neither. He said, I try to live in the middle. He goes, if you're just, you want to win so bad, or you're afraid of losing, he goes, it introduces like a fear if you aren't achieving that win, right? And he goes, that's going to just affect your performance negatively. He goes, so I live in the middle where I'm learning. Everything's learning. What's the next best move I can make? And you just live right in the play you're in, And I was like, gosh, that's really easier said than done. But like, what a smart way to look at it. Because I think a lot of times, and Rhino goes off about this, people are afraid to fail. They're so worried about, I got to do good, or my sponsors or my dad, whatever, going to be mad. And that, that tightens you up, right? You don't ride like yourself. So it sounds like you were just in the moment, whether it was you were consciously making that effort, or it was just you being you.
I think I was just, my dad had me put in a lot of work, and he put in a lot of work to make sure I had the best bikes that, you could legally have. And I'd put in, like, I would show up to Loretta's and not even think about losing. Like, I didn't think that anybody could beat me, and that I didn't plan on letting anybody beat me, but I didn't really like stress about it. I just gate would drop. I'd try to hole shot and just, I don't know. When I was young and I was putting in that type of work, it came very, after the work was done, the racing was easy.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But we worked so hard as kids that there definitely wasn't anybody on that gate that worked harder than me before that point. Yeah. And
that was Ricky's theory always, like race day should be your easiest day. Once you get there, that's the fun part, because you get to see what the work leads to, right?
For sure, yeah.
I noticed like some of these years, like 98, 99, 2000, you only rode one class.
Well, that's all you could back then.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there wasn't like it is now where there's multiple classes. So that was kind of what was interesting about getting, having the record I did, because you could ride two classes, but on like 60s, there was only 65, 7 to 9 stock. And then there was 65, 10 to 11. So unless I was riding a 50.
They didn't have modified classes, huh?
Yeah, they didn't have that kind of stuff. Even like when I was 85, 7 to 11 stock, they had an 85 mod, but it was like almost like a super mini. Like it was like the whole age group.
Right.
It wasn't like a...
Wow. Okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I was wondering what happened there. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And look at this, dude. From 04, 05, 06, you never lost a title.
Yeah, and then 03 too, I only lost. That was the one I went 1-1 DNF. So from 2003 through out, I shouldn't have lost a title there.
That's wild, good. Dude. Yeah, that's right. So when did you get support from? Were you a Yamaha kid even back then?
Yeah, so Yamaha sponsored me, I think, through Longview Motorsports when I was like 10. And then we kind of got courted over to Team Green the following year, and it just didn't really it just wasn't as good as support as we thought it was going to be. And then Mike Garrett came back to us after, because I think I won Loretta's on Team Green, and then Mike Garrett came back to us and got us over there. And then we just loved working with Yamaha. Those guys would, whatever they said they would do, they would go above and beyond that. Like you never had to worry about, like Mike Garrett's word. He stuck to it.
Yeah.
And we loved that about him. And it was, so then stayed with them. And then I got I think I got approached when I was 15. I think we started working my first pro deal.
Okay.
But I mean, they were taking good care of me. I was able to, I was getting, back then you'd get like, 7-8 bikes in a crate, and basically not quite unlimited part supply, but pretty much, and really get bonuses. You get like the double contingency, and then you'd have like the big, Lorettas and World Mini bonuses. So, I mean, I think when I was like 13, I was already making like close to 6 figures by the time I sold all my bike. Not counting expenses, but like what gross. I could bring in. And then it just kept same next year it went up, and then by the time I turned like A, then I figured I could go to local races and go make like $2,500 on a weekend or something. It was
contingency still good in that window on an amateur level? Because like in the 90s, early 90s, dude, Suzuki bucks, I could crush it. Arizona series, I'd come over to the Golden State and Transcal and wherever, and I could make so much money racing for contingency money. Just like local stuff. Not
local so much, but like World Mini, I think I went and I raced like 7 classes one year because I think I'd make like $1,000 or more per championship or something. And I think I won like 5 of them one year, and then probably got like second or third in the other one. So I was doing the same thing at local races. I would just ride every single class I could. I mean, when I went from an 85 to then, Yamaha would send me so many bikes. I had a 125. I think we got a 252 stroke. I think I got like 3 250Fs, and then I got a 450 when I was like still like just turned 14. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why, but I just loved the 450. Like
really, from even right away.
Yeah, 125. I'm like, get rid of that thing. That's like my 80. Like I hated it. And then because when you're racing 250Fs,
yeah, I'm
like instantly just okay. I get rid of the 2 strokes. These 4 strokes are where it's going to be. Riding was on the wall. And I had a 125 when I was 12. So I was like, I already was
that's
over
old
that.
School,
let's get these 250s going. And then I got on a 450, and I was just like, that was the funnest thing in the world to me. Just that power, and then I figured out how to harness it and not use a bunch of energy and hit big jumps. And I remember hitting like 180-foot triple when I was 14 on one.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was at Albany. They used to have this jump called the Gap, and then there was a step down past it, and it was like 180 feet if you jumped the whole thing. I think me and Tiger Lacey were the only ones that ever.
Tiger Lacey. Oh yeah, he was another guy in that area.
Yeah. So I mean, I was around him.
He
quite
passed away, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, he came back sick from a race overseas. He just was some sort of pneumonia that I don't know. He is really.
And that's what killed him.
Yeah, something strange like that,
wow.
Some illness, and then he's got a son, Lynx Lacey, that his stepdad was another pro BMX guy, had a signature frame with fit, and his name was Sean Mack, and he's been raising Tiger's son and Lynx, and he's been taking him to all the amateur nationals. I think he's living at Club right now. But he also takes him out on the electric bikes and kind of takes him into like the street BMX scene. And that kid, if you haven't seen him on Instagram, he does some crazy stuff. Like he's already jumping off like roofs of CVS on his like Cobra e-bike.
You know what, dude? Maybe I have seen him actually.
Yeah,
I've seen those videos you're talking about, and now it's clicking. Lynx Lacey. Yeah, I didn't know it was this kid.
Yeah, but he died, passed away like right when he was born. So it was a really, really sad deal. Tiger was awesome. He was a Northwest legend. Him, and then Rookstool too. That was another guy we ran around with a lot. Yeah.
Was Turbo Reef from up there?
No, I think he Central California.
I'm not sure. That's why I was asking. Is he Central?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Rookstool. I remember him.
Yeah.
There's another guy up there I used to race with. I'll think of it. Privateer guy, but he was cool. So as an amateur, who are you dealing with? Villapoto. I think I looked at one of the results. It was like Josh Grant, Stroop, Izzy, Dungy, I want to say, Jason Lawrence. I mean, you had kind of like a stacked, which I guess there always is, but you had a pretty heavy-hitting group of guys.
Yeah, I had the people around me it turned out to be a really, really solid group that came up together. I mean, when I turned pro, I think there was like something like 8 kids from my class got either factory rides or support rides. Me and Dungy were the same age. Me and Will Hahn were the same age.
Oh, yeah, Wilbur was in your class.
Hackley, Albertson, Villapoto, Millsaps, and Alessi they were one group, one age group up from me, so I was always chasing those guys. Josh Grant was a few years older than me, but we crossed paths on 80s quite a bit. It was really solid. Stroop and Izzy, I think, were 1 year younger than me, and they were in the mix a lot. Justin Sipes was around, Ryan's brother. He was really fast when we were young. We had Zach Osborne. Osborne.
Zach.
We were like, honestly, every one of those championships, maybe not everyone, but a lot of those championships, Zach Osborne was second. We battled a lot as kids. That was a solid group for sure.
For sure it was. As you were kind of getting out of that, how did that Yamaha deal come to be? So you had a long-standing relationship with them. So probably a year plus before you turned pro, they came to you and said, hey.
Yeah.
And it was a straight factory deal, right? Like factory truck and everything. Yeah.
Well, I was YOT as an amateur. Yamaha Troy was handling all my engine stuff and all, like, helping with suspension. Like, they were doing – actually, no, Factory Connection was still doing my suspension. But YOT was doing all my motor work
all
for me. All
two-stroke stuff then?
4-stroke.
It was already 4-stroke.
250F, yeah. So I was already testing, like, with those guys all the time right as we were talking about the deal. And then I had a lot of other offers.
Hold on, real quick. So when this says 125 stock and mod, you're on a 250F,
yeah,
right? Yeah, okay.
250F. Okay. That was just that time when the class structure hadn't really changed.
Yeah.
I mean, there was still, and nobody was on 125s. Even schoolboy then we could ride 250F, so nobody rode 125s.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, and YOT was doing good work. Like, their stuff was fast.
Yeah.
In that window, yeah.
That was actually almost kind of I had a lot of different offers, and I actually even tested a few really good bikes. And but I was on a YOT bike, and I got this factory offer, and I'm thinking like, oh, the factory Yamaha, like, it doesn't get any better than this. If my YOT bike's this good already, the factory bike's gonna have to be insane, So I signed with them without testing any of their stuff. And
what else did you test?
I rode a few different bikes, but I always kicked myself for not signing with the Factory Connection guys, because they came up to my house and brought a bike, and I mean, I remember just being able to pull all my hills like a gear higher than I could any other bike, and that thing haunted me. I wish I never would have rode it, because it was so good, and they gave me such a good offer, and I didn't take it, and I think I would have had a completely different career trajectory if I would have done that. Yeah.
But would they have been as good about letting you bump up and ride a 450?
I would have never done that. That was
really?
When I signed with Factory Yamaha in 2006 going into 2007, they had no 250F program, and I just assumed that they, I just didn't know nothing. I thought for sure that'll be the best, and we really, really struggled with the bike.
Really? Okay, we'll get there. Yeah. I want to elaborate on that, but let's go in order here, because that's blowing me away a little bit. Okay, so you do Loretta's, you win 06, both classes, A and Pro Sport, and then you went and did Millville. That was your first national.
Yeah.
And that was the muddy one, right?
Yeah, that was the one that Ricky lapped everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was calling the races. That was the year I was doing the broadcast.
Yeah.
And I don't remember seeing you, but I'd have to go back and watch again.
I got my foot caught in my rear in between. I was coming around the finish line turn. I used to have that switchback right before the finish line, and I was railing it, and I think I was battling with J-Law and a few guys. I was in like 6th or something, first moto, and I came around the corner and caught my foot weird, and somehow sucked it into my own swing arm off the face of the jump.
Oh.
And then I don't remember if you guys covered it or not, but yeah, it took me like a lap to get my foot unstuck from my own swing arm. So that was my first moto, and then the second moto it just monsooned.
Yeah.
And then I remember, like, I didn't know what place I was in. I had no idea, but I think I ruined Bobby Canaire's like only podium, because he was coming to lap me and I thought we were battling, and he couldn't get around me and fell over trying to like pass me.
Oh, no.
And yeah, he wanted to kill me. He got me back eventually, but yeah.
Did he?
Yeah. But
Bobby,
yeah.
He's a scrappy little New Yorker.
Oh yeah, he was gnarly. He always was. He was he was fast on mini bikes too.
Was he?
Oh yeah.
I like Bobby. What was, to kind of talk about that first experience? Were you on a factory Yamaha bike then, or what were you riding?
Yeah.
Still your Loretta's bike?
No, I had a YOT bike for Loretta's, and then I went to the factory team. So I remember going on the factory bike. The suspension was really good. I loved the suspension, but the motor wasn't near there. But I didn't even really think about it. You get on a factory bike, there's so much new stuff. Like, you're just like, I'm testing it at Paris on concrete tracks.
Right.
Like, you're not even really thinking about it. But yeah, Millville didn't go good. But then Binghamton, the second.
Did you feel any pressure? I mean, or was it kind of same thing?
Nah, I just thought this is how it goes. Like
Yeah.
I'm good at riding, and they said people sponsor me, and I'm gonna go here, and I'll probably be pretty good. We'll see what happens. Like, so yeah, the second, Binghamton, Millville went terrible. I kind of just brushed that one off. Like, well, that was a weird day. No, didn't really stress about it. And then Binghamton was my second race, and went out and chased Brock Hepler around, and caught up to him. Was probably I got like a 12th, 15th place start and chased down to second, and kind of could see Brock, but I couldn't close the gap, and I got second. And
you got like 2.4 or something, right, for third overall?
Yeah. Or 2.5 or 2.4, I don't remember. Yeah, but
so podium, your second national ever.
Second national, yeah.
And maybe, who knows what Millville would have done if it wasn't a muddy disaster and you didn't have the mishap. Like,
yeah,
it was a good introduction.
Yeah, it was good. And then the next weekend at Steel City, I was running good, and then it was another rainy one, and I think Brayton landed on me.
Oh.
Somebody didn't jump that table in front of me, and then Brayton did and landed on me. So I think I went like 6, 20, 20th or something, and then same thing. I think I did okay. I don't remember what I did at Glen Helen, but I think I had one good moto.
Yeah, it was a 25th at Glen Helen.
Yeah.
So,
a little up and down.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's rookie stuff, right? But to come in and get a podium right away, I mean, everybody, I don't really remember it, but just looking at the results, I'm all, damn, that's really good. Roll straight in and just hit the box. Yeah. Okay, so in that off season, talk a little bit about getting into Supercross. Had you ridden much Supercross?
Yeah, I had a Supercross track in my backyard. I mean, it wasn't like spec, but from an early age, like all I would do is my dad would build rhythm sections that he could try to triple through, and I'd be doubling through them. And then he'd just have big jumps everywhere, and it started out as there was some 90-foot triple he'd build that was gnarly on he'd have some tricked out YZ125 that he was jumping it on, and I'd be doubling it on my 80, and then as I got older, then I started doing everything he would be doing. So I grew up Supercross, like real, rhythm section, timing, a lot of arena cross in the winter, and loved jumping. One of the guys that my dad used to ride was the guy named Mike Storm. He rode for like Team SMP up in the Northwest, and so I'd just be spinning laps in my backyard all day, just doing nothings, no footers, no hater landers, just trying tricks, and so Supercross, I was more thrilled for that.
And you were comfortable right away.
Yeah.
Okay, so take us into that opener. This is 2007. Your factory Yamaha, West Coast. And Anaheim, you got a 19th. What happened there? Take me through that first race.
Broke my wrist in the heat race. Yeah, it was like first lap, second lap. Tried to just kind of like a 2-for-1 special in a turn. Like I'm like, if I cut up the inside here, I can just hit the inside and hit this triple and make a pass on a bunch of guys. 'Cause I didn't get like the greatest start. It was probably like 6 or something, and just always heard about moisture coming up out of the soil at Anaheim, and it was my very first Anaheim. Just thought I could hold this inside tight and still hit the triple, and just spun out off the face and just framed it, and just cracked my wrist. It wasn't like
hairline.
It hurt like heck, and I still went out. I think I won the LCQ, just taped it up, and at that time I didn't even know it was broke. Then went midweek, figured out it was broke, but I'm like, well, I rode with it that weekend, so I just kept racing. I raced the next weekend. I think I got like 7th.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, 7th at Phoenix.
Yeah, and then I think I podiumed the very next weekend.
You did. Yeah, you figured it out quickly. Again, you were 3rd by Anaheim 2, and then you went 3, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3. So like super consistent. And I think was RV winning those that year?
It was like RV and J-Law. I mean, that year was stacked. We had RV, J-Law, Hansen, Davalos, Josh Grant, Boniface, Kyle Partridge, Sonny. There was
it was tough. Yeah.
Matt Lemoyne. We had a lot of guys. Yeah. It was a good stacked year, and I remember I just got terrible starts all year. I would be fast, and I would just come through the back of the pack, and 4th seemed like the best I could get consistently.
What were you? Were you heavy, or was that the thing? Or
I was probably 165 pounds. So
not crazy.
Yeah.
So tell me about the bike. You said you were struggling with this 250. That surprises me. You'd think YOT and Yamaha would be sharing information, and sometimes that doesn't happen though.
Yeah, well, they had all different I think we were White Brothers exhaust, and like everybody else was FMF, and there was just a lot of things that that weren't cohesive. In Supercross, it wasn't. I never really thought of it as an issue. I was struggling on starts, but I didn't really chalk that up to like, this is the bike's fault that I can't get a start. And then so I made it all through Supercross. Power's not. I mean, it helps in Supercross, but it's not make or break. Like, you can get around it when you're not in, ripped up soil.
Yeah, right.
But as we took the bike outdoors, it was evident that things weren't working. I think I pushed that bike off the track like 10 or 11 motos, and it was not fast. Like, I would just be getting passed by privateers going up hills, I was riding my butt off, and it was scary. I mean, I remember getting like a pretty, probably one of my best starts of the year, probably just like 10th or something at Redbud, and you used to do like the start and kind of switch back, and then it was immediately like a big step down where Alessi had that big get off. And as I took very first lap, as I took off, kind of in the top 10, go off that step down, the second I take off, bike locks up in the air. And I mean, it was just things like that all year, and outdoors, and it really started to wear on my confidence a little bit. But then I just went and bought myself a 450 at a bike shop, and because my bike kept blowing up, like practicing. It was the same thing whether I was at a race or if I was practicing. Like, I'd be pushing my bike off the track. So I was out in Texas. I was actually staying with the Bichelias, Matt Bichelia and his dad. We were all friends growing up from Oregon, and I was just doing some training out there to get heat and all that. And bike blew up, so I just went to a bike shop in Texas and bought a 450, and I basically asked, and Langston happened to be I think Bubba just had his injury at Washougal. GL was in the title shot, but it was a tight one, between, it was Andrew Short. I think Alessi was still in the mix, maybe.
Who else was in it?
There was like 4 guys. Oh, Tim Ferry was really, he was in the mix then too. So GL, Tim Ferry, Andrew Short, and I think Alessi were all like the title hopefuls after Bubba had his knee. Yeah. And so I pulled up to one of our test days, and I think maybe my 250 blew up or something that day too. So I was like, guys, you got to let me ride a 450. I'm like, I'm fast on it. And they're like, yeah, sure, you're fast. I'm like, I go out, and then I just hop on it, like my stock one, and I'm like 4 seconds a lap faster or something at Glen Helen. I think I might have even been putting in times that might have been faster than GL that day, but maybe, GL might not have been going that hard. But I'm telling them, like, guys, I can score points in between these guys. Let me out there. So I finally talked him into letting me do it. Because, I mean, it was like this 250 season couldn't go any worse. I think my best finish was like a 5th or a 6th in a moto. But it'd be like 5 DNF.
We had a 6th at Budds Creek, 7th at Southwick.
Overall?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought I sucked.
I mean, not what you probably wanted, but not awful either.
Yeah. Well, so they
6th at Glen. Oh wait, this is an. Oh, okay, I see what you did here. Yeah, but there was a lot of rough.
That must be 08 450 that you're looking at there.
No, it's 07.
Is it?
Yeah, and then you did Texas and Glen Helen on the big bike, right?
Yeah. Okay, so that's
right.
Went
9.6. I mean.
Yeah, and I went
better than the 250 class.
I was in 3rd in the first moto, and I got my goggle lens blown out.
Oh.
And so I pulled off, and I remember Jim Ferry's like, "Oh, you probably got tired," like giving me a hard time, like I couldn't handle the 450. So the next one I got in the first turn pile up, didn't quite go down, but came out like last, and I just rode my butt off. And I remember like passing Andrew Short, who was GL's biggest title rival at the time, like with 1 lap to go on like the hottest day, for 4th in the moto, and that was like
they were pumped.
They were like, well, okay, he wasn't wrong. And then I think same thing. I had like 1 bad moto at Glen Helen, and then I had a good moto where I put some more points in between him and some of his guys. But so that was kind of vindicated a little bit of my season, and we didn't do any testing. Like, it was just like
hop on and here's a setting.
Here's a 450, go for it. See, let's have fun, kids. See what happens.
Well, so this is kind of what I was talking about, where I said you just didn't really follow the standard path, right? Everybody does a few years or at least a couple on the 250. You didn't even get through one. Now I'm hearing that you didn't love the bike, so that makes some sense. But how did you talk them in 08 to just riding the 450 full time?
Because I was an idiot kid, and I'm just like, guys, I'm getting out of my contract if you don't let me ride a 450. I had no backup offers, but I just came in like, yeah, I'm not gonna ride, and I was making like stupid money.
Like what?
As a rookie? I mean, like
I
would say besides Bubba at that point, I was probably the highest paid.
Yeah,
rookie.
this was peak money, dude. Like 07, right before the housing crash.
Yeah,
they were just handing it out in the truckloads.
It was good. I mean, I think, it was really good.
You don't want to say?
Yeah. I mean,
was it 7 figures?
I think my 250 year, I was just under that before racing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So between all my gear deals and all that kind of stuff, it was good.
Yeah.
And so, and then, but I was just gonna walk. I thought like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna race it. Like, yeah, either that or I'm gonna go sign with somebody else. Which nobody probably would even sign me then, or if it would have been for like $100,000, max.
Well, okay, so you think, looking back, and we'll get into how your year went here, but like, you think that was a mistake? Like, if you could go back and do it over, you'd have stayed on the 250?
No, I don't think. I think just given that circumstances of that bike, I think that was my only option. I think I would have fizzled out entirely if I would have stayed on that Yamaha. I maybe would have had some good Supercross finishes, because I know they did try to work on the bike, and Hepler had a couple of decent runs on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, in Supercross, I think the bike was competitive. They always had amazing suspension. The bikes handled good, but the thing would bog on jump faces. It was slow. It would blow up. It was scary. Like,
well, dude, to be fair, a lot of from 03 to kind of in this window, there was a lot of those 250S blown up. Mitch would blow bikes up left and right.
Yeah.
Ask Carpenter or IT about it. Tedesco, they blew bikes up all the time. They needed like a 6-pack in their garage of bikes because they were blowing them up so much. I don't know about the Honda guys. I'd have to double check with them, but I know the Suzuki Cowie combo bike was like a time bomb.
Well, back to my dad having a dyno. We took my bike from amateurs and put it on the dyno, and I took my factory bike and put it on the dyno, and it was about 4 horsepower slower than my amateur bike.
No way.
And it would blow up, and my amateur bikes didn't blow up. Like, YOT wasn't blowing up bikes. Nobody else was blowing up bikes. And so my dad takes it and starts like mix matching parts. Hey, let's put this cam on here. Let's do this. And then calls him up and like, hey, guys, I figured out how to what we were lacking in this, talking to Jim Perry or whoever he was talking to at the time. Well, I got a combination I think will make this bike, fix the issues we're having. And they're like, oh, that's great. Well, we're going to send you a shipping label up and your son a flight down to California. And we're going to need to get all that stuff back. And your son's not training in Oregon anymore. So needless to say, my bike wasn't getting any better. So that was kind of just that was the deal. So when they didn't, I know they were trying, like, don't get me wrong, those guys were trying really hard to make the bike good, but whatever reason, we struggled immensely that year. And,
I'll never understand this, Josh, because sometimes these guys, like your dad figured out something that worked better. YOT had something that worked better. But why wouldn't they take that and go, okay, yeah, let's use this cylinder head or this cam or this combo that Josh's dad came up with? It's like they're too proud, and they're like, no, we're gonna do it our way. It's like, well, you're blowing up left and right, and you're not making as much power. So come on, swallow your pride and let's put the best equipment we can under Josh. And it's not just Yamaha, because there's. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but there's other manufacturers where that's still happening, where the guys like going, dude, I need to go this direction. And they're like, no, this bike, it works like this. You need to just figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, they have something on, or maybe it's contractual. I know like one of the things that we were struggling with the exhaust for sure a little bit.
Yeah.
That's not what was making it blow up. And then, there was different cams that you could buy that were just like aftermarket. I think it was like web cams or something. We put those in, and it was like made the thing way faster, and just brought it to life. There was just little things, but they were competing to brands that they had, and they weren't willing to copy it or whatever the case was. I mean, it all makes sense. And if you're factory Yamaha and you've got some 17-year-old kid, and his dad telling you guys don't know what you're doing, I I mean,
I get it.
Looking back, I mean, I feel I'm embarrassed to even say this, especially it was a different time though too. I feel like the riders had way more of a say and a voice and like a direction than anybody has now. You know, now it's like training facilities and you're coming here, you're fired, and it's different.
Yeah, it is different.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like it better, but it's definitely different. Oh, well, let's go into this season here. So you're riding the premier class in your sophomore year.
Yep. Which
is like pretty unheard of. Guys will jump up and dabble and do a few rounds here or there, but like you just went full time. I'm moving up. Opener at Anaheim, 16th. Didn't go great.
I almost won the heat race though. Chad passed me in the last turn, and then I think I fell in the first turn Chad passed me like last lap of the heat race. I led the whole thing, and I got second. And then in the main, I think I fell in the first turn.
Okay. 11th at Phoenix, and then by the third round, again, you're figuring stuff out quick. You got second. Who won that night?
Chad.
And
then I think Kevin got third. Kevin got third.
So what is that even like? And you kind of already showed your hand a little bit here. You were just like, you had a really good head for racing because you didn't overthink things. You didn't get like overly stressed about it. It's like you just didn't overthink, you know? You knew you had the talent, you worked hard, and then race day you just did what you do. Like, that's crazy. You're up here racing with Reed and Wyndham in your second year ever, like the elite level guys. What was going through your head? Was that computing, or were you like, again, just say, whatever, I'm up here doing it?
I mean, during the off season, I remember because I was just turned 18. Me and my parents weren't really seeing eye to eye. Like my parents were really protective of me as a kid. I mean, I had like a PG lock on my TV when I was 18 and moved out. Like they had a good hold on me, like trying to keep me on this, straight and narrow. And I was 18 and I was like, I'm out of here. And so I took off down to Southern California, and I was like, because my dad's like, you're gonna blow it, you're gonna blow it, you're not gonna make it, it's not gonna work for you, and so I took that as like a challenge, and so in that whole off season, I was trying to prove to Yamaha that I belonged on a 450, and that I was better on that, and I was trying to prove to my parents that I was a man, and I could do this. So I trained my butt off, and just at the practice track, I was fast, like I rode with, Chad was out there, GL was out there, Ramsey. I mean, I had some good guys and all the Yamaha Troy guys, and I had some good competition to base myself off of, and I was confident heading into the year, because there would be days that I would be the fastest guy. And that gives you a confidence as a kid, because even if those guys aren't trying that hard that day, still, going faster than Chad Reed on a day, I'm like, I can do this, you know? So,
And trust me, he's trying. If your lap times are faster than his, he's not just going, oh, well, I'll let the kid have it. Reedy's not that way.
He kind of was, I think. I think he was smarter about it. Like at that point in his career, he would kind of just put in the hard work when it counted, like he would spend a lot of time like working on his bike, trying stuff out, and then one day, like when I would start to get cocky, like, oh, I got Chad covered, he'd come out and show me that he still was the man.
Yeah.
Like
two-time champ.
He could come out there basically he was showing me that maybe he wasn't giving it 100% effort every time he was on the bike as far as trying to put the fastest lap time in, but if he needed to, he could show me up. That was kind of what I gathered out of it. But I knew I was close.
Yeah.
So, going into that season, I just wanted to do good. I remember, I think me and Chad battled in the heat race in Phoenix. We battled in the heat race at A1. And then, I got on the podium, came through the pack to get on the podium too at A2.
How was that bike? Were you
Amazing.
stoked on that? Yeah.
Loved it.
Did it bog at all? The carbureted
it's still
four-stroke times make me so, even I remember Reed talking about, was it Detroit where he beat her really hard?
Yeah.
And because he landed on a tabletop and it bogged.
The Yamaha bogged. It was bad. It was a thing. I mean, they bogged a lot, and you rode bikes. You rode early four strokes. Like you watch kids now and the way they've developed the scrub. It's like that. Obviously James set the scrub up, and people have tweaked on it ever since then. I think Barsha was like the first kid that I've seen that, other than James, that just came out just slamming the bike into the face, like with disregard of your bike ever bogging. Because for me, like, I was still doing like a little bit of the Mike LaRocco scrub, like hitting it hard and kind of throwing my butt back, because that was almost just, okay, in case this thing bogs, I'm ready for it. I always had a finger on the clutch. A lot of times, like when you'd come into a face, kind of feather that clutch just to build the RPMs in case it bogged. And I mean, if I sent a jump out to flat, it was every time, like that was just how it was.
There's nothing scarier than a bog.
But the 450 was way better than the 250, because the 250, they were putting like big carburetors on them, trying to get power out of them. And then like, I think just that extra, you slam down and every time.
In a rhythm lane.
Yeah. To be precise, then it was a different game for sure.
And it was different, but the same. I mean, even in the 125 days when I was racing them, those things would bog, because you got the jetting just right on the edge to make it crispy, and then the temps would drop a couple degrees at night, and
and you guys are probably running like some like MR2 or some like fuel that was very volatile. That unless you had somebody that was really knew what they were doing, it was going to bog on you. And the tracks were gnarlier when you raced.
They were gnarlier.
Like you go watch it. You watch late 90s, early 2000s. Those tracks would hold up now. Like
I say that to people, and they're like, "Oh, you're just old man yelling at the clouds." And I'm like, "No, they were." I felt like they were safer because they were slower, because the stuff was so steep and technical. Dude, I had whoops at Anaheim in 2000 that were like nipple high on me. I know that's saying a whole lot. I'm not real tall, but gigantic. Do you remember that track in 2000?
Yeah, 2000. Those are probably those whoops were massive. I was just watching that race the other day.
So,
and the quads and the dragon backs, keep people complaining about the dragon backs now. Like, you guys, those things were curbs, walls, and then you guys are on carbureted bikes navigating them into a quad or something crazy they'd do after, or the triple would even be bigger than it is now.
Well, they make the tracks now, just everything is so kind of flattened out and fast that the guys are going way faster, and you're on faster bikes. So when they get off, it's like speed's the problem. That's why guys are getting so jacked up. Slow them down,
Do you remember any ruts in West Coast Supercross very much?
It was rare.
Now you're dragging foot pegs at Anaheim.
I know.
And it's just a whole different thing. They don't build the tracks the way they used to. It used to be everything was peaked, lofty, tall. Yeah. The berms would look like they were slick and hard packed. So you could go anywhere on the corner, but you couldn't really carry that much momentum, because there's a lot of brake sliding. Like the racecraft, I think, in your era was the coolest to watch. Like, if there was a triple, like you guys would have to swing way out wide to do it, and you had to pay attention. If somebody was close enough, they could close the door on you.
Yeah.
I think that the tracks have almost devolved and the bikes have elevated so much, and it's just a different game.
Yeah. I don't know what the heck changed in the way they're prepping it. Maybe just too much water into the pile before they form the jumps, because you're right. Like, that was one of the cool things about Anaheim's anyway, let's just say. It was hard, and you knew it was hard and slick. That's what you were getting. And it wasn't dusty, though. They'd get water on it and make it so where there was no dust. Like, why are you putting so much water in it then? Why do we want it ready?
It makes the track this wide.
Yeah.
Because now you can't brake slide somebody up, square them up, and make a clean pass. You have to be in the slot right below them and then just hope they hit the rhythm section the same as you. And if one of you guys gets just a hair off. I mean, even when I came in and late 2000s, tracks were still, I think they were starting to, there were still some gnarly tracks, but I think they were starting to tone things down a little bit. Like the transitions weren't like, I remember riding the test tracks on an 80 in like 2001, 2, 3. And what I was prepared for Supercross was just insanity. Like you would, even triples like didn't have very good, they were meant to throw you to the second level of the stadium. And now I think everything's just kind of gotten mellowed out, and then the bikes have gotten so much easier. So, and it makes the racing, I guess, tighter, but I don't know if it makes it.
But you're going so fast, you can't really, you're not going to get the aggressive kind of block pass, bump passing we used to have, because you're going 60 miles an hour. It's like you'll both go down, right?
You're taking a dude out of his rut now. Like, that's the only way you're making a pass is it's going to be aggressive, and you guys might either the guy's smart enough to see you coming or you guys are both going down.
Yeah.
Because you're just riding across ruts to get to somebody's front wheel now.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say it because I don't want to keep badgering on about it. Okay, so, dude, this year, second in your very third race ever, another fourth at Houston, another second at Indy, and then you win Minneapolis. And then what else through the rest of this year? Another second at Irving, fourth at the Vegas finale. Like
Toronto, I was battling for the win and went to dead last, came back to fifth. Like, I was trying to pass Chad for the lead at that one and hit a concrete. Yeah, you go down to the concrete in the stadium. I was riding really good that year. I was
so like everyone had to be on Yamaha had to be like through the roof happy, right?
I don't know. I was kind of a goofball kid too, and I was having fun while I was doing this. Like, I would train my butt off, but I was, we were having a good time. So I think, they were still probably a little weary about everything. And I don't think I inspired their confidence when we went outdoors. But,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, but it was good. Yeah. I mean, I was thrilled with the bike. I don't think I complained at all as soon as they gave me a 450. As soon as I had power, because it wasn't like the Yamaha 250 didn't handle good and the rest of the components were good. It just the motor was really bad.
Yeah.
So when I got on a 450, that solved all my problems. I just had to figure out how to be a better rider and ride the thing. But yeah,
I feel like you were a little bit of a holdout of kind of 90s moto. Maybe that was hanging around Reed, but like you guys worked hard, played hard.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if guys do that anymore. If they do play hard, it's real low key, nobody around, put your phones down, and
I don't even know if I would say I played hard. I hung out with people that went pretty hard, and I would,
who was in your crew back then?
Well, I mean, me and J-Law, so J-Law ended up being, he was YOT, I was factory. We weren't really like buddies and amateurs. We were kind of rivals and but then we went to, we were both on Yamaha, and we just figured like we're either going to hate each other or be buddies.
Okay.
So we became friends. Then he ended up moving next door to me. Like I was renting a house, and he's like, I'm going to get my own house. And I ended up just renting the one. There's one neighbor in between us, that poor guy. So we just, we're just goofball kids. Like, I didn't really think about like my image in the way that like people would. I kind of almost thought the opposite. I wanted to like look like I was having fun and almost look like I was squirrelier than I was. But I really like when we talk about having fun, like we'd go ride Supercross in the morning, then we'd go train with Rhino in the gym for an hour, and then me and J-Law would go grab our bikes and like we bought our own bikes because we wanted to ride more than our teams would let us. So then we'd go to Star West or Star West at night or Paris at night, or we'd go ride pit bikes at a buddy's house or go dig pit bike jumps, come back, and if there was any girls wanting to hang out, we'd play a couple games of beer pong, call it a night, do the same thing the next day. I mean, it wasn't like we were wild. Okay. I mean, at least me, I had a few wild moments, but nothing like
wasn't crazy.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't anything off the rails really. It was just kids having fun. I mean, it almost like I wouldn't even say as gnarly as like college kids. We were just just enjoying the moment and enjoying riding. And we would ride two times a day, probably 3 times a week, on top of whatever else we did.
Wow.
Mid-season too. I mean, I just loved it.
Dude, and I see that common thread of guys that are really good. They rode a lot.
Yeah.
When Ricky set the 5 gallons of gas a day standard, it's like, whether it was Villeman or Reedy, they rode a lot.
We'd go do the serious riding in the morning at the test tracks and just focus on doing the laps, whatever the team told us to do that day, basically. We'd go do that. And then we'd go over to Rhinos and hit the gym for, The gym thing for me at that point in my career was that was actually probably the least that I hit the gym at that time when I was working with Rhino. Rhino was just kind of like getting our mentality correct. Like Rhino was kind of just in my ear, like, you could beat these guys. Like, you can do this. You don't got to work. Like, you're mid-season. Like, this is what we're doing. We're going to work in the gym for an hour, 45 minutes. You guys are going to ride dirt bikes again? Sweet, go do that. And then we'd go to Star West and just go play ride. Yeah. Or if there was a double that we could quad, we'd go get some like 4th gear, just look for fun stuff to do or go ride in the hills and just enjoyed it. And I think that was a really good combination because we'd show up to the races loose as could be. We were in enough shape to handle 15, 20 laps. Like, we were.
And you still enjoyed riding your motorcycle.
I loved it. I looked like every weekend it was exciting because it was like, this is the best track that we're going to be able to ride on this day. You know, like that's the way we just love tracks. Like we had our own track out in Beaumont, me and Jason did, and like that we paid for on top of the test tracks just because we wanted to like ride different
Was that
stuff.
the old Plano Honda test track?
No, it was Chatfield's owned it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was right there off
the 10.
Off the 10, yeah, where the 60 and the 10 split, and they had like. And then the funny thing was, we were like rivals, or J-Law was more so rivals with Villapoto. Like I always liked Villapoto's because we grew up together. I mean, I might like not like him beating me, but I didn't have any like ill will towards him. So, but him and like Weimer and those guys would be out there, and we'd be at our track, and it was just a funny situation. J-Law dragged me into a lot of his beefs by like default, you know, because he'd say something really funny, and then I'd laugh, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm a jerk, you know.
So I probably didn't care for J-Law that much back when he was in his prime because he was pretty loose. Not that I didn't care for him, but I was like, I don't really like that vibe that it's making our sport look bad. I love him now, dude. And I think he's grown up a little bit too, but like he's great. And, dude, he's really smart and analytical when it comes to the sport. Really analytical.
He's not a dumb guy, that's for sure.
He was doing some race breakdowns for us last year, the year before. And he would say some stuff. He goes, he'd reference races from years ago. Remember at this race, and this guy did this and that? And I'm like, no, I don't remember that. He's like, yeah, go back and watch it. I mean, he's a student of it. And I just get a kick out of him. I think he's great.
I mean, everybody thinks we were just, like, totally screwing off, but like that's what we were doing. We would ride, you know, and if we would spend a lot of our time just watching old races, watching our races, like, you know, we'd sit in and watch each other's tapes from the weekends together and just like study stuff. And
so he was still 250 and you were
he was 250 and I was 450, and the year before we were battling a lot. You know, he would be getting basically Villapoto, I think, worked us pretty much all year on his PC cow. He destroyed us. And then, I mean, I don't know if J-Law snuck a win in 2007 or not. I don't remember. But it was always Jason second, and then me or Josh Grant third, it seemed like.
Okay. Okay, take me into outdoors that year. How did the first year of outdoors on the 450 go? I mean, you'd already showed you had the speed the year before in those last couple. But how did it go a full season?
It was not terrific at the start. I don't remember what I got at Glen Helen. I don't think it was great at all. I think maybe I had a decent one moto and a bad second moto or something, or vice versa. I don't remember, but it wasn't good. I know that. Your
best overall is fourth at Bud's.
Yeah. So let's see. I don't remember what I got at Glen Helen, but it wasn't terrific. And then I think one decent moto. Then Hangtown was okay, but not great. Then what was the next one after that?
Texas, Freestone.
Texas is where it all came off everything kind of, all the fun came to a halt. Jason, we'd go to the races early. DC Shoes gave me a motorhome. It was like Rob Dyrdek's old like tour bus or something. And so me and my buddies, my mechanic, he was like 19 or 20 at the time, Zach. And then I had a buddy that raced also. His name was Tony Boughton. He would be my motorhome driver, and I bought a trailer to put behind the DC rig so he could race, and he'd just drive it to all the events. And then at a lot of them, I would we'd just go race to race in this motorhome. I threw a practice bike on the back. But at Freestone, we showed up, and I think I showed up like Friday night, and it was the tail end of like Jason rolled a rental car with a bunch of the buddies.
I remember that.
So I pulled up right when they were kind of picking up the wreckage of that. And a lot of people thought I was, you know, in it, but I wasn't even like
there yet.
I mean, yeah, I'd take credit for that, you know, but I wasn't even in it, and a lot of people thought I was. And then the next night we rode practice. They'd have Saturday practice, I think, and then Sunday was the race, right? So we went to the pit bike track. The pit had a big pit bike race at Freestone after practice. Okay. We were just bored, nothing to do, staying at the track in our RVs. I go over there. It's like 100 and something degrees, and I just remember like some guy, like two guys driving around in golf carts. And one guy's driving around like asking everybody, hey, you want a beer? You want a beer? And I'm like, it was hot as hell and I just ran out of water. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take a beer. And I remember just cracking a beer. I'm just over there hanging out. And then like 20 minutes later, and I mean, probably not even that, like some guy comes up. He's like, "Hey man, so yeah, how old are you?" I'm like, "I'm 18." He's like, "Oh, you're 18?" He's like, "Yeah, come with me," and like grabbed me and like basically like cuffed me in front of the whole place.
Oh no, really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, so I got an MIP the night before Freestone National and minor in possession of alcohol. It got like, dude, they made it. The guy, cuffs behind him.
Was he a cop? What?
Yeah, he was an undercover, and he was rolling around with the dude in the golf cart handing out the beers.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean that's how I remember it. And
so did they?
Yeah, so it was they didn't arrest me. They just gave me a ticket, but they arrested, to everybody at the track. I got arrested because I'm getting like towed, me and J-Law. J-Law's 21, but he didn't have his ID on him, and he was probably just slipping off, so yeah, it wasn't a good scene. And then the next day.
So how did that go at the team? I mean,
yeah, the next day was not a fun day for me, and I remember it was hot as hell, and I knew I was in trouble, so I didn't sleep that good. I tried to play it off, and I mean, I was in trouble.
Yeah,
nobody was happy about that. So yeah, and I crashed. I was trying my ass off to do good that day, and I remember I kept going down, trying just to push. Yeah, if you go out and you do good the next day after you had a rough night, kind of usually fixes your problems. Yeah, if you had a sketchy night where people know you're out and you're maybe not having some drinks, doing something you weren't supposed to. If you go out and whoop ass, nobody cares.
Yeah.
So I was trying really hard to do that, and it didn't work, and I kept crashing, and So then I was I was in the doghouse at Yamaha for the rest of the summer, and then things started to derail a little bit for Jason too, and that was, just kept.
Because he had that, and then I think didn't he get arrested at Redbud?
He got into an altercation with a fan at Redbud.
Yeah, that was that same year.
Same year, like kind of like 2 weeks later. Yeah, so I just tried to stay on it, and I was I wasn't as fast as those guys outdoors either. Like I had Supercross figured out on a 450, but I didn't have that raw send it and just strength of some of those guys. So yeah, I did get fourth. I think was my best at Budds Creek. I think I might have got a fifth at Washougal if I remember right. Yeah. And then Southwick, I got third in it was the only time I ever seen Bubba at the end of a moto, and it was Bubba and Cody Cooper at Southwick. I went second moto at Southwick. I got third. But I don't remember. I think fell down or something the first moto. And Millville, same thing. I think I got fourth the first moto, came from way back, and then got in a first turn pile up. And it just got a little off and on. Yeah. Like I definitely always had the speed. I just wasn't quite polished. And yeah, just kind of a kid making dumb mistakes. And
yeah, but I would come out of that season, that incident aside, and say, look, he freaking won a Supercross. He's on the box multiple times. He's some top fives outdoors, got a little bit of work to do to kind of get comfortable on the big bike outside, but like the potential's there, your speed's there. I mean, I'd be happy, I would say.
Yeah, I think I was seventh in the championship, which not quite to the level that I should have been at on factory Yamaha. What they expected out of me, but it wasn't Supercross, ton of good things to take away from it. I won a bunch of heat races, 3 seconds, a win. Like it was good. I was fifth in the championship, rookie of the year. Like everything was really on the up and up there. And then heading into 2009, I think I went to U.S. Open. I got second the first night. I don't remember what I got overall, but it was, things were going good. And then I was out testing a bike for Brock Hepler, like breaking in a motor I just know it was his bike, and I was testing something at Milestone, and I just like hit a rock, like just on a cruise lap, and it just flung me into the water truck lane. Like, when they rip the tracks in Southern California, sometimes like a rock will get buried and you just won't even see it. Yeah. And I was just kind of like taking a new line to get around a slower rider or something, and just hit this buried boulder and just endoed over the bars straight to the water truck lane and destroyed my shoulder. And this was like middle of October. I tore my labrum like front to back. Oh. And so that was a bit of a setback going into the 2009 season. Like I didn't get basically I did everything I could, PT'd as hard as I could, got surgery, and started riding the bike 2 weeks before Anaheim. And then the week before Anaheim, I was doing like a triple onto a tabletop, triple off, and I tripled onto the tabletop, and my chain snapped and took a big hit to the head, and then just still was like, okay, I'm gonna race. I wasn't knocked out, I wasn't like brain, wasn't like serious, but it was looking back probably more serious than I thought it was as as a 19-year-old kid. And I just sucked in the beginning of the series. I had no strength. I had no I could barely ride, but I wanted to be there. I think GL had his eye injury at that time, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm pretty sure Hepler was dealing with his head injury at the time. So I think I was the only guy remotely healthy on factory Yamaha at that stage. So I kind of had a little bit of pressure to be out there. As long as I could be circulating, they needed me there circulating. So that was kind of how the season started for me in 2009. And slowly just worked myself back into shape. I think I got third at Toronto, won Daytona heat race, over Chad, that was cool.
Felt good, I'm sure.
That was then Bubba had that big crash and took my bike in the main. That you ever watched that video?
Yeah, he picks your bike up.
He picks up my bike, and I was like, hey, wrong bike. Yeah, so, but yeah, that season was starting to go good. I think I got fourth in Jacksonville, if I remember right.
Yep.
And then I was out jogging in Murrieta up behind Greer Ranch, and we were doing like trail running at that time. I was trying just to, that's what I like to do for Supercross was running back then. And we were trail running, and I stepped on a rock, and I remember I twisted my ankle so bad I had like scrapes on the top of my ankle, and this thing just,
ballooned.
I hammered my ankle, and that was I had to sit out the rest of the Supercross, I believe. And I was still it was still hammered coming into outdoors.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had some more injuries that year. It was that was a rough one.
So that was a tough year.
Yeah, 2009, I was pretty much written off.
So when you signed your first deal going into 2008, how many years was it for?
That was my final year.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, 2007, 2008, 2009, it was like I signed it as an amateur, so it was like a 4-year contract or something at that point, but it went 3 years into pros. Okay. And so, yeah, it was bad timing to suck, especially after, I had shown like glimpses of being really good, and then showed glimpses of being unreliable as a, employee. So, and then to go out and, even looking back on it, I was getting a third, fourth, I was always top 10. I always won heat races. Like, I think by today's standards, that still wouldn't be maybe looked at as like, he sucked that year. But
no,
that was the way I was kind of looked at. Like, oh, he sucks. Like, I got written off bad that year.
Really?
Like, I had no real offers to race. Factory Yamaha folded their team completely that year, heading into 2010. Everything went satellite after that. So I had no real solid offers. And then coming into 2010, I talked Larry Brooks into signing me for free, bonus only thing.
Wow. But for was it L&M?
Yeah, it was Sam Manuel.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a big learning experience for me because I had a back injury. I found out I had 3 bulging discs in my back, and then I had that ankle injury, and I was trying to race outdoors, and I would show speed, but my legs were going numb and turning jello like 5-10 minutes in and I didn't realize what was going on. I went to the doctor, and my back was pretty wrecked. So I think I stopped racing right before Washougal that year. So I think I made like 6 or 7 rounds, and then pulled the plug on it on the outdoor season because of my back. And I just went to work, and I was probably like 180 pounds at that time because I remember just being injured and not being able to train, and my diet wasn't correct, and I just wasn't putting all the pieces of the puzzle together right. So Jimmy Button was helping me out at that time, and he got me with some physical trainers down in Encinitas, and they were really good. Like, we fixed my back issues like without surgery because they were wanting to do surgery, and I was pretty worried about that at 19, having back surgery, and lost a ton of weight, changed my diet, got down to where I was like 150 pounds, and like probably, really, really in shape and really good, and didn't touch a bike for like 2 months, 3 months just to try to fix my back. And then, got the deal with Larry, We went and started doing some overseas races. I remember.
Was it factory parts on that bike?
Oh, it was way better than factory.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Sam Manuel was like, factory bike was their stock bike. And then Larry could switch out anything he wanted to make it good. I mean, at one time, Larry had a fuel-injected 2009 Yamaha. That was sick.
Larry is low-key the best team manager there is.
I wouldn't go low-key. He's just the best. I mean, he's won championships like nobody's business.
But I'm just saying he's under the – I've been bugging him to get on this show for like 3-4 years. And he's always like, Ping, I don't know. No one wants to hear what I got to say. And I'm like, Larry, you had a dope career. Like, your story's great. And then what you've done since then is even gnarlier. I say, what do you mean no one wants to hear your story? He's good, dude. Like, I mean, he's really good.
The Suzuki's a decade old, and Larry's Suzuki looks like it could win. I mean, it can win. Rox is winning on it. You know, I mean, Rox probably can make anything look good, but I don't think that's a bad bike.
No. You watch Jason Anderson this year, dude. He'll go good.
Yeah, he's back at home.
So, okay. Anyway, I didn't mean to. Okay, so you're at so better, way better than the.
Oh yeah, I remember riding their 09 bike because the 2010s hadn't came in. That was when they did the reverse engine.
So 10 was the reverse engine. Okay.
Yeah. So the 09 off season, all the way until like end of November, I was riding the 09. And I was like, I felt so good. I was killing it. I was going and did some overseas races and was winning a lot of stuff on that. And then I rode the bike one day before we went to Bercy Supercross, the 2010. And I had to race a 2010 at Bercy.
Okay.
Because that was what they had available and all that. So basically just a stock 2010 with suspension. And Bubba was racing that year. And I remember the first 2 times, like I rode the bike. I explained it to people to where I was like, I feel like I forgot how to ride a motorcycle. It was like I felt like I was riding a 4-wheeler, like that, because they were all wide and square and boxy, and if you landed a little bit sideways, like dude, the thing would just twitch. And
yeah, it wasn't great.
It was like rip the hand, like in a rhythm section. If you landed a little sideways on the gas, it felt like it was gonna rip the handlebars out of your hand. I mean, it was probably just really fast looking back on it, and wasn't quite ready for that. And the chassis was a little bit rigid. I mean, it probably wasn't that bad of a bike, but you know, and sometimes like a motorcycle makes a massive jump in like the motor category, and the bike gets crazy fast and really responsive and all that, then all of a sudden, slow bikes always handle good.
Yeah.
You get a real fast bike, it doesn't always handle that great.
Oh, yeah. Well, Honda went through it in 09 when they revamped their bike. The 08 Honda 450 was maybe one of the best motorcycles ever made.
Yeah.
You fuel inject that thing, and you could go win on it right now.
Yeah.
But the 09 was like several steps backwards, you know. That was a rough bike. So Yamaha went through that in 2010. That's always the issue with like making a massive change, right? Is these manufacturers will polish it over 3-4 years or whatever their cycle is of that model. And if they make a huge change, like spinning your engine around backwards, it's like, yeah, you're going to have some issues at first, right?
Yeah. But so we went to Bercy. Bubba still on that 2010. I think he smoked everybody the first 2 nights. And then he ended up getting sick, and I was getting smoked. I couldn't get used to the bike. I never got arm pump in my life. And then I went to Bercy, and it was just like pumping up. First time like really even experiencing it. Like I sucked. But then on the 3rd night when Bubba got sick, I ended up pulling it all together and going out and winning the 3rd night, and that was cool. So got a little bit of steam going, and then Larry and the team at Sam Manuel, those guys worked their butt off. Like I think he kind of knew the bike was a bit off, like that there was some weird things with the bike that had to be worked out. And then James was kind of just doing boot camp out in Florida. So I think Larry just put a lot of interest into me, and we put our heads down and worked our butts off going into the 2010 series. And I showed up ready to play at that time. I mean, that bike was still not good.
You'd have been much better off on the 09.
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it was give or take, right? Like the 09 was a little bit slow. The Yamahas weren't like the class-leading power, but 450 Supercross, you don't always need a ton. Mm-hmm. But I really don't have any blame on the bike. Sure, I think looking back, if I would have been on a Suzuki, like those things were really good. I think at that time, and there's a couple bikes that were really good, but the Yamaha was fast. I could get good starts on it, and we just worked hard. So we came into the season fired up, and got to do some off-season training with Bubba, went out to his house, and things were good. Yeah, and Larry, we were doing everything we could to make that bike work, and we, on the West Coast, definitely got it figured out, and it was a good start of the season.
Yeah, so you went 6-3-2-2-2-2. Were you leading points at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're tied. No, I was tied with Dungey. We left the West Coast tied.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and this was the backflip year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So take me through the rest of Supercross. You went back east and it didn't work as well?
I struggled at Indy. Like, I think, what did I get? Ninth. I think I should have got 10th, and J-Law let me by in the last turn.
Did he really?
Yeah, he literally just looked over at me and let me by. And then the next weekend would have been Atlanta, and I crashed in practice and cross-threaded off a triple in a rhythm section, and it was bad. I broke like 3 or 4 ribs.
Oh.
Pretty concussed. But I was in the championship hunt, so I remember just being like seeing stars for all the way until I went out for opening ceremony. I mean, it was one of those nights I shouldn't have raced. Like 100% I shouldn't have raced, but it's just, you're in that, you want to win a championship, and I was the only rider on the team too, and we did what we thought was best. I mean, I salvaged I think a 6 or something that night.
Yeah.
Might have even ran, I don't remember if I won the heat race, but I don't even know how I did it. And it was
Do you remember the night?
Vaguely. Very vaguely. I remember just being in the top of the semi, just staring at the roof, and it's just the bubbles, and like it was not good.
Dang.
Yeah, and I couldn't breathe for it all. Like it was tough. So we got back from that, and then the next week was Daytona, and I remember I went out practicing, and I don't know what it is about SoCal tracks and being out early in the morning, but same thing. I hit another rock that was buried at Paula. I was going like 4th gear wide open down a straightaway, just kind of doing we just wanted to kind of ride the bike on some sand with Supercross suspension, and Paula used to be kind of sandy, getting ready for Daytona. It was like on Tuesday or Wednesday. I hit a rock, and same thing, just smacked my head, seeing stars, wasn't good. Like, and this is a couple of days after the Atlanta one.
Yeah.
And then I went to Daytona, and I forgot which way the track went, and jumped on a tough block, smacked my head off the concrete. Like, I was on the asphalt. Like, that's how off track I got. So, still salvaged. Like, I'm still hitting like top 10s. Still kind of was hitting heat races that whole time. But then, it seemed like every time I'd almost turn the corner on the injury, I'd just have one more fall or something. Like, I remember crashing and like splitting my ribs, and like I never let them heal. When you're breathing heavy and working hard, like your ribs, the cartilage and the bones, like you kind of got to chill. I didn't do that, and kind of kept smacking my head, and it was just I was 20 years old, and I was still chasing this championship. And at that time, I had it in my head that Dungey and Villapoto weren't any, like, I ain't gonna let these guys beat me for a championship. Like Bubba, Chad, like, they're out. I'm gonna win this championship. So in my head, even going through all this stuff, I just thought, like, those guys aren't better than me. One of these guys is going to throw it away. I'm going to be bad. I'm one bad race from these guys away from being back in the mix. That was kind of my that was my position on it. And then I got worse. I could never pick up the pieces. I would win a heat race, set fastest time, and then just blow it. I couldn't keep my focus anymore. I was struggling on breathing. I couldn't train the way I was. Like, I was so dialed in. I felt like a robot. Like what the program Larry had me on was really good, and what we were doing was high intensity, and just it was awesome. And then when I crashed and kind of shook that up, I didn't rebound the whole season. I mean, I had a couple flashes of good again, but nothing like the beginning.
That's hard, man. It's such a hard part about our sport is like if it's NASCAR and the guy gets hurt, which not like that happens, but they'll just pop another driver in and he can go get right and then come back when he's ready. Our sport, dude, if you're in the title hunt, like, you have to try. I mean, that's just what they tell you. Like, well, you got to go out and try, right? Like, bro, I'm seeing spots. Like, I don't even know where I'm at. Which way does the track go? I don't know. Figure it out. Go try. It's just like a brutal reality of our sport,
Yeah, and I mean, it is what it is. And I mean, we've got people out there trying to fix it, like the Asterix or Alpine Star now medical crew. Like, those guys do an awesome job, but they can't help me lying to them. I know the right things to say to them when I eat it, and I'm dazed. But I see those guys, and I can straighten out real quick, and I can go past that baseline test. I might set my baseline a little low going in. You never know. I'm homeschooled.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not real. I ate a lot of paint chips as a kid. Is my score bad? Okay, so yeah, I mean, the season kind of obviously didn't end the way you wanted. What'd you end up in the championship? Third?
No, I dropped back to, I think, fifth again or sixth. I don't remember. Fifth or sixth. It wasn't ideal.
Okay, so when did this backflip thing happen?
So I had a Supercross only deal with San Manuel.
Okay.
Because they didn't race outdoors then.
Okay.
And X Games was coming around, and I was going to race because I did it in 2008. I raced, and I loved it. X Games was cool. I was just like, it was a whole new deal. I couldn't believe how good they treated the athletes. It was just such a cool experience. And DC Shoes, Monster Energy, they were like my sponsors, and they were
great money too.
Killer money if you did well, and bonuses and all that. And just, it was almost like they were like rock stars in the late 2000s. It was a really cool experience. So I wanted to do that. And then we were talking, they brought in Speed and Style, which I don't know, maybe they'd done it one time before, but it was kind of a new event. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I'm like, it'd be cool to flip. Like, I know I could flip, like, flip bicycles, and, like that'd be really cool. I want to do that. And I've got all off season to, I've got May to July to figure out how to flip. So I was I remember just riding laps the Supercross track at Corona all summer, and I was going so fast on the Supercross track. Like, to this day, I've never ridden a dirt bike faster. And I was just out in Corona by myself in the heat, just burning laps. And every lap I'd come over the triple and I'd throw a Superman or a no-footed can, like just keeping myself busy out there by myself. And then I'd go ride ramps in the afternoon with like Matto or Nate Adams whenever I could. But Larry he wouldn't really let me take the bike to go hit the foam pit. Like, and then finally, like, I think it was a week before X Games, he's like, yeah, sure, take the bike. But I think he kind of thought, like, I think in his mind he was going to try to just keep me away from it, and then I would just be like, oh, okay, I don't have time to flip. And my dumbass, I'm like, it looks easy, I'll go do it. So I just, first day, I go to the Nate Adams lets me hit his foam pit. Actually, no, I think I hit Renner's foam pit at Paula with Matto, and I'm spinning him around, it's going good. Then I wanted to just do a super kicker. He's like, just do 75s into the foam pit. Like, just get it. It's just as easy. It's almost easier, when off 75. So I just went out the next day, and I'm just flipping 75 into the foam pit, flipping it into the foam pit at Nate's house. And then I'm like, dude, I got this. I'm like, every one of them's good. I'm like, let's just go to dirt. So first one I go out, and I mean, this is just 2 days in a foam pit because X Games was that weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm like, spin the first one around, but I OJ it because I'm on a factory San Manuel Yamaha. Like, they gave me like my real bike, and the thing, I couldn't even like I'd have to almost be like putting up to the ramp to then like pin it off the top, because I thought that's how you flipped at that time. I'm like, you just go up to it slow and then just gas the hell out of it and pull back. And so the first one I OJ'd it I brought the flip around great, but just overshot the landing by about like 10 feet.
Okay.
And I stopped, and I'm just like, yeah. So, I mean, first flip, 75 feet straight concrete hard pack at Nate Adams, the old militia compound. Mm-hmm. And the landing had no safety deck. I mean, it wasn't the best setup, but I'm all celebrating. I'm all happy. I'm like, all right, cool. I just got to keep doing these. I just want to like get it out of my head and like just get it dialed. And the next one, I just brain faded, and like a thing would have came around, but I felt like I got such a weird pop off of it at the top, and like I just spent 2 days just doing it in the foam pit, and like when things are going bad in the foam pit, you just like ditch the bike. And in my head, I always thought, yeah, that'd be the best way if it's not coming around, is like once you're coming through the front, get rid of the bike, and that way like you can just catch the landing and roll out of it. But like I was saying, I was going, that bike was fast, and when I was pinning it, I was going past the landing. So when I ejected myself, like I didn't catch any transition.
Oh, you went to flat.
I went like 90 feet to concrete dirt flat. And I mean, that thing, that wrecked me pretty bad. But at the time I thought I just broke my femur. Like, it's going to be okay. I'd broken my femur before as a kid. Like, I can get through this, and now I'm old. They can plate it or screw, the rod. I'll be okay. I broke my arm too. Like, I just snapped my whole right side. I mean, my leg was snapped behind. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. Like, that thing, it was pretty nasty. But going into the hospital, I'm thinking this is July, September, I'll be sweet. But then I went into the hospital and had a ton of complications.
Yeah, you got compartment syndrome.
Yeah, I got compartment syndrome in my opposite leg. So I broke my femur and pelvis and like broke my arm, really, my humerus, snapped that in half. And so my whole right side was smoked. And my left leg, like everything on my left side all extremities were fine for the first 3 or 4 days. So the first surgery I went in, they tried to pound a rod into my femur, but the guy in what's that hospital over off Clinton Keith? I don't know, whatever.
Oh, Inland Valley.
Yeah, I was in Inland Valley, and they tried to pound a rod into my femur. What he didn't didn't read the notes that I'd broken it before when I was a kid, and the thing was all bowed out, and it wasn't just a straight. So they realized halfway through the surgery that wouldn't work. So then they had to pull me out, and my arm was still like snapped in half, and my leg was still snapped in half. And then they went back in and fixed it, and I lost a ton of blood. Like I think I was in surgery for like 17 hours or something in the first couple of days.
Jeez.
And then a couple of days later, I developed compartment syndrome. And I mean, the details on this are fuzzy because like I was in and out. Like I don't remember. I just remember that it just seemed like a nightmare. It was one of those things. I was losing blood. I was in and out of surgeries. My left leg, I kept telling him my other leg was starting to hurt like 3 or 4 days into being in the hospital.
Did you have a clot that went over to here? Is that what happened?
Because
typically you get compartment syndrome like distal to where your injury is because you can't get the blood to return through that inflammation and stuff.
I think when I was in surgery, I think they might have had my other leg elevated and kind of like blocked off the blood flow to it. And I was in surgery for like 17 hours. That's the only thing I've done some research, and I've heard that's the only time. Like it still makes no sense to me because I was in no pain at all on my left leg. And then I had compartment syndrome, and I remember being in the hospital and kept telling them like, hey, my other leg's hurting. And they would just be like, oh, it's the pain meds. You're imagining that. And then I finally like lifted up the thing, and my leg was purple and bigger than my thigh. And they're like, oh, ran in and did the whole fasciotomy.
They got to open you up.
Filleted me open. And that was, and I was just 20. I was in the hospital. I had a girlfriend at the time that she was staying around with me, but, I didn't have like my parents. We weren't super, I was still trying to do it on my own. I wasn't trying to have my parents come in and run the show and, help guide me through some of this. And so it was gnarly. I was in the hospital for 20 days, and they were, it was rough. And then when I got out, nothing got better. I was in a hospital bed and downstairs in my house for 2 or 3 months, running around the little electric wheelchair because I couldn't do crutches because both my legs were inoperable. I had no feeling from the kneecap down for like 9 months, like at all, other than just pain. Just felt like my leg was hooked up to battery cables nonstop. I mean, it really messed me up like mentally. That nerve pain, like breaking bones, hurts, it sucks, it's not fun. But nerve pain when you get some ghost pains going on in your leg just feels like I felt like I had like Parkinson's. Like I would talk, I'd talk and I couldn't do sentences, and I stuttered, and it was bad. Like
So was that almost worse than the femur?
Oh, 10 times. I was using this as soon as I could, as soon as I could get around. This was my leg. Like to push off the bed, like my broken femur, everything I did was my leg. It probably strengthened that thing because I've broken this femur twice and it feels healthy as can be.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So are you through all that though? Like, did it eventually go away and it's no residual?
Oh no, I mean I can only, you can't see it on camera, but I can only bend it that much. Like it's like fused tight, and I don't have nerve function in it. So it came down, it worked to where I could start to feel like the top of my ankle bone is like the first place that I have any sort of sensitivity.
Okay.
And so for like riding a dirt bike, ever since I got back, it's just vibration. Like that's why, I'm wearing the B level boots that don't have like any steel shank supports or like booties or anything, because the vibration is how I can feel where I'm stepping on my motorcycle. So yeah, that, but I'm so lucky to be where I am now. Cause I mean, I had doctors kind of, people wanting to amputate it and, all these different, like amputate it, that'll be way better. You won't, you're going to be in pain for a long time. And this thing, you're probably going to end up having to amputate it anyways. And all this kind of stuff. So it was a hell of a journey. Luckily I just started to work with Dr. G, that season, because of my rib injury, and Larry was like, hey, you should, I think it was Larry got me hooked up with him. You should go see this guy. He helps out a lot of people. And so G was already helping me. So when that happened, and I would kind of got to the point where I could start driving myself around and doing all these kind of things, I started going to see Dr. G, and like, man, I think he sort of saved my life, really. Just because at that point I was in a lot of pain, like, and nothing was helping it. It was just nerve pain nonstop every day. But, once you get on painkillers, it's tough to get off those things, especially if you're consistently in pain 24/7, 6 months in. And he just guided me in the right directions. And when I was, just one day I decided I got to get off these things. Like I've had too many bad examples of people that, got stuck in that motion of those things. And, went out to the beach in Newport and just left the painkillers at home and lived in Dr. G's office for like 2 weeks. Sweated all that stuff out and never looked back.
It's brutal.
It's good. It's really good.
I had about a 2.5-3 week stretch of time where I was dealing with kidney stones, and I had to have multiple surgeries to get rid of them. And have you ever had a kidney stone?
No, I heard they're not fun though.
Bro, I've broken femurs. It's gnarly pain, but I got myself addicted to whatever I had. Dude, all kinds, whatever you could get on, because the pain was so gnarly. And when I finally finished everything, I just quit cold turkey. I was in full, like, I got a taste of what addiction's like, man. I was the sweats, the chills, like full withdrawal. Can't
eat, can't sleep, hot, cold, sweating.
It's not good.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. Yeah. But once getting over that, it's like, don't do that again. You can't help it.
How long were you taking them?
Probably like 6-7 months. And I was taking
a lot, Norcos,
as much as they'd give me, and that, but it was needed, I think, at that time. But you get to a certain point though too, and the painkillers tell your body you're in pain. Second, 4 hours wears off, your body's going, oh dude, you're hurting. Go get more of that stuff. Like, you need it. You're destroyed. Like, and then you get off of it and you're like, I'm still in a ton of pain, but I'm clear-headed and can deal with it. It's just.
Yeah, man, they're gnarly. So that was how long until you were kind of like somewhat normal?
That happened in 2010.
In all of 2011, you were off.
2011, I think at some point, Kerry Hart hired me onto his Hart and Huntington Cowie team. And I want to say heading into 2012, I'd started to ride. Like, I remember I had a bike because I used to live here in Murrieta, over kind of by La Paglia's. Mm-hmm. Actually, right by Blackmore Ranch. I lived right behind him. And so I would go. I couldn't walk really. I had like a China quad that I got that I would just use that to go do all my yard work and get around. And then I was like, well, I can do that. I'll get on a dirt bike. So I started just riding with like my buddy McDriddle and my buddy Jed, and we'd just go trail ride down the sand washes. And I just kind of like let my foot hang and just go ride just to get that feeling back. And so I was bad. Like, I couldn't even get my foot in the boot. And it was
because of the pain or swelling or what?
I couldn't. I could get it in there, but it was like I couldn't feel it. I'm just like stuffing it. I don't know if my toes are crinkled back. It was just and then I'd be going to Dr. G's and I think, okay, yeah, like he's having me do these things, like I'm trying to pick up marbles, all this stuff and feel things, and it's not. I'm convincing myself that I'm getting somewhere, and then I remember. I always tell this story. He'll tell this story too. I used to wear these big like DC high top shoes that I thought were real cool, and I remember I put my sunglasses in them. And, when I go to do my therapy with Dr. G, and then I forgot that I did that when I left, and I just put my foot in my sunglasses and I went home. I made it all the way back to Temecula in rush hour traffic from the beach. And get home, come inside, take my shoes off, and then my sunglasses fall out of my shoe, and I'm like, oh. You
didn't even know they were in there.
I had no idea, it's just like a lot of demoralizing things like that. And then getting back on the bike, it was on my shifting side. So I was hitting, I could actually, I started to ride like pretty good. Like I remember like Ivan Tedesco was on the team, Hansen was on the team, Chris Bloss. And like, I I was somewhere close to those guys. I would, even when I was still like on crutches in between stuff because I was getting pressure sores on my feet. Because at one point, like my leg was like pigeon-toed down, like I could only step on my tippy toes because my leg got locked, pointed down. So then I had to go in and they had to cut my Achilles tendon and set it and straighten it out. And then it was just like surgery after surgery, trying to find an answer just to get my leg at a neutral, 90-degree angle.
I always thought the compartment syndrome was on the leg you broke. Mm-hmm. So it was the other side. It's so crazy. Yeah,
it's a strange deal. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'd heard that if you're in surgery for a long time and you have your leg elevated and you lose the blood flow, that then when you regain it, sometimes that can happen. That's the only thing that makes sense. I mean, maybe I bumped it on the crash, but I mean, because it was a gnarly crash, but there was no swelling, there was no issues there. It was just a strange one, man. It was tough. I lost a ton of blood. I had to do like 8 or 9 blood transfusions. I was kind of in and out of consciousness for like 20 days in the hospital.
Damn, dude.
And
the doctors didn't give you any explanation of why that would have happened?
Well, we kind of got rid of those doctors as soon as everything went real bad. And then Dr. Alexander came in and kind of picked up the pieces of the puzzle and got me back together. And then when you're in an emergency situation, they were kind of already saving, doing life-saving operations. So there's not like you can really... I've never sued anybody in my life, and I don't really think you have really a leg to stand on if there was any sort of malpractice or anything anyways. So I never really dug into it much further. I just tried to move forward. I couldn't get any answers. That was the only answer that I've seemed to, like from research, that could happen is I've heard that or read that. So I don't know. It was weird. It would definitely shook up my world.
God, I'll bet, man. That's gnarly. Well, let's take a little break here, and we'll pick it back up with basically 2012 because 2011 was a wash.
Yeah.
And we'll pick it up with some more positive stuff.
Yeah.
Stick around. This is your Trolley Designs Timeout. We'll be right back. In the motocross graphics game, customization is key. TBD MX can bring any of your design concepts to life. Simply fill out a design request, and they will email you a concept for approval. TBDMX also has a showroom full of designs to choose from on their site. Whether you just want number plate backgrounds or a fully custom kit, the TBDMX crew has you covered. Visit tbdmx.com today and get the look you want.
Every AMA championship in the past decade was won on Dunlop tires. They are the best. Choose the best performing tire and a brand that has never wavered in their support of our sport. Choose Dunlop. Pro Circuit. Pro Circuit products are designed with one goal in mind: winning. Through passion and hard work, Pro Circuit has operated the most successful 250 team in the history of the sport. They use that same formula when developing exhaust, engine, and suspension parts for every brand. When only the highest level of performance is acceptable, trust Pro Circuit.
At Seat Concepts, our handcrafted seats are made in America. Visit us online or call today. Seat Concepts. Ride the world with us.
Something from nothing. That's what Nihilo Concepts is about. It starts with a spark, an idea, a concept, which leads to a design, and finishes with engineered excellence with the highest quality products created with durability in mind. All our products are made in the USA at our state-of-the-art facility in Stuart, Florida. Whether you are a weekend warrior, ride for fun, or at the highest level of competition, Nihilo Concepts offers innovative titanium, aluminum, and carbon fiber parts for your dirt bike. We offer a wide variety of products that you can customize to your liking. Browse our site for foot pegs, brake tips, engine components, specialty tools, frame grip tape, lever grips, carbon fiber components, motor stands, our secondary on-switch, plus much more. Head to NihiloConcepts.com and see for yourself why factory teams like Red Bull KTM, Rockstar Husqvarna, Troy Lee Designs Gas, Orange Brigade, Club MX, KLM Gas, and some of the fastest riders in the world choose Nihilo Concepts.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
Arc levers are the most durable and reliable on the market. They have the most premier class championships of any aftermarket lever. Arc is the only ratio-adjustable folding lever on the planet, and their patented design is precision machined in-house right here in the USA. The occasional tip over on the bike is inevitable. Broken levers? Those are optional. Visit arclevers.com today. Toyota has become synonymous with reliability, and for good reason. Toyota vehicles are consistently rated #1 by Consumer Reports and in customer satisfaction. Partner that with a dealership that wholeheartedly supports the motocross community, and it's crystal clear where you should buy your next car or truck, Toyota of Redlands. As a major partner of the BarX Yamaha Racing Team, as well as personal sponsor of many factory racers and a premier partner of the Whiskey Throttle Show, Toyota of Redlands is heavily invested in moto. Check out all the new and used Tundras, Tacomas, and other vehicles at Toyota of Redlands today. Reliability, performance, and customer service. Get it all at Toyota of Redlands. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, if it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4, an electric mountain bike so advanced it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does, thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com, use our code WHISKEY20, get you 20% off, and give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding, your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear, no. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody, you name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. That was your Troy Lee Designs timeout. We appreciate those guys. get over to their website, troileydesigns.com. Check out everything they've got going on. Awesome helmets, gear line, mountain bike gear, helmet paint. That's a really cool present for somebody if you're looking for something for Christmas. Have them dial in their name and number on their helmet. Pretty affordable. And, you got some custom TLD stuff. Really cool. So appreciate those guys. Josh Hill, let's jump back into your story here. So you're back to, I'm not going to say good and healthy at this point, but you're riding again. Sign on with Hart and Huntington. And were you signed up to do the whole year?
Carrie, they signed me like when they knew I was mangled. They signed me when they signed me, I didn't really have a return timeline. Like he just they wanted to support me. I went to the races. At that time the team was wasn't just starting out, but it wasn't like extreme. It was pretty privateer at that point. But then they were making a big push. They signed Ivan Tedesco. They signed Hansen.
Yeah.
They brought me in, and I think they wanted to. They were hoping that maybe at some point in 2011 I could maybe get on the bike. And so I got on the bike in the 2011 off season, heading into 2012, and started riding and was feeling pretty good. Like everything was starting to come around. I still couldn't feel. I was missing shifts, but I was putting in time. I was, trying to do 20s, trying to and I still felt amazing, but I just, when I rode, I could still do some stuff really good on a dirt bike, but I had to be real cautious. Basically every time I jump, I'd look at my foot and make sure I was still planted on the foot pegs, because I was just trying to figure out how to adapt again at that point, because I kind of had figured out this, it may get better. There's a small chance it can get better, but you're pretty much just
stuck with it.
Either deal with it or give up. That was kind of where I was at. So I was out riding a bunch.
And I mean, how do you even? I would be so nervous about shifting.
60 rider, full butt. If you watch me now, if you pay attention to it, I mask it pretty good, but I shift in the air almost exclusively. That's why I don't race outdoors very much, because you're always kind of dabbing your foot in ruts and having to shift on the go and coming out of turns, and if I'm coming out of a right-handed turn, it's almost impossible to get my shift before I get to my feet. I have to get onto my feet and then kind of do the 60 rider butt shift, and
little chicken legs come out, and the whole body.
So I was having to figure out how to navigate all that, and it was going okay. I went to Anaheim in 2012, and I qualified pretty decent in the top 20, I'm pretty sure, in qualifying. And then first heat race, get a good jump. Coming to the turn is me, Villapoto, and Brayton. And I don't know, somehow I got kind of wedged between two riders. Villapoto maybe hit Brayton, and Brayton kind of made a right-hand turn coming into a left-hand first turn.
Okay.
And I just smashed my leg first heat race, destroyed my heel. Just
on the bad foot.
On the bad foot. But I didn't even know it. So I go down, I get up, and I'm get up on the bike, take off, and I do 3 more laps. And I'm hitting all the triples, doing everything, and then I'm just I can just feel my heartbeat starting to just pump through my leg.
But you don't feel the pain?
No, I don't really feel it. So I'm just but I just after a couple laps, I'm there's something's bad. I could just feel just blood goof coming up and down my leg. And so ended up shattering my heel very first race back. Then healed up from that towards the end of the season and started to ride again, and I was feeling pretty good. I was out at the Cali test track, get done with the 20. I don't know what the heck happened. I'm riding and I stand up or I'm standing up on my foot pegs, and I'd always take my hands off and kind of shit. I don't know. I always just ride around with no hands on the bars when I was going slow coming off the track, and something hooked my throttle. I don't know if it was my jersey was baggy or my gloves, and I was just pulling off the track, shaking my hands out, and something hooked the throttle, and I had no hands, and I tripled into a rhythm section with no hands, doing the rolling up the windows, and then busted my humerus. The day I was supposed to, the 2 days before I was supposed to make my return again. And, that was it for Supercross. I mean, just weird. I still don't get
tripled
that one.
into a rhythm lane with no hands.
No hand. Like, I mean, I hooked something on the throttle and went, bro. It was the craziest thing.
How did you not just go off the back?
I did.
Oh.
My bike went over the triple, and I think yeah. It was a weird one. Really good move. And then, I took the rest of it off, the rest of Supercross, trying to heal from I busted my humerus clean. And then
are those painful? I've heard those are pretty gnarly.
No. That one wasn't.
Yeah. Okay.
That one. I mean, again, I'd been dealing with ever since that nerve stuff. Like
nothing
compares anymore. That was pretty bad. But so then I came back at Washougal. So the team didn't do nationals, but they wanted me to go get my feet wet. So my mechanic, Sean Bell, Longhorn, we took a van and went to Washougal and Southwick. And I don't know what I got, but it wasn't that great.
22 and 21.
Yeah, I think I got like 16th or something in a moto, which, if I remember right, and I crashed one moto. So
what was the hardest thing? I mean, again, the shifting part, just.
Yeah, I mean, shifting, and I just never was like that great outdoors, or I hadn't been. I only did 2 full seasons outdoors, was it, and then tried in 2009, and I mean, that third at my very first race overall on a 250 was my best outdoor race, and then I got 1/3 in a moto on a 450 in the next season. Then I did it, and 4th, 5th, that was my best. I just. But either way, I wasn't quite ready. We were pushing it early, trying to come back, and I just wanted to see where. I just kind of wanted to see where I stood. I mean, just getting points, I was pretty happy with that. Because I was still like getting pressure sores on my feet. Like I would come off if I had a hard week, I'd spend the weekend on crutches, like just trying to relieve the pressure off my feet. And it was did that for all the way into 2013. I think 2013, I broke my wrist at Anaheim 1 in practice qualifying, just clipped a tough block, little crash, broke my wrist.
Still with Hart and Huntington.
It was RCH at that point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I think I came back like round 4 or 5, but that's middle of 2013 season is when things started to kind of click for me. Like I figured out how to adapt to my new life and figure out how to ride a bike again without making too many mistakes. So like I don't remember where my best where I remember is Minneapolis 2013 is when everything changed for me, because I got a 4th place start in the heat race and passed Chad, I think Kennard and Alessi got into the lead, and Villapoto was in that heat race, and I just won like out of nowhere. And that made me like just, I don't know what it is. They talk about you like a building, and that was the next time they'd ever went back to Minneapolis since I won. So I guess I was a little bit more fired up, and I just went out in the heat race and just whooped everybody. Like, don't know how. And then that was like, okay.
Well, you were 8th the weekend before in Houston, and that was kind of your best in a while, so that probably helped. And then, you go to that building you like and dirt you like.
Yeah. So that was that was kind of when I started to realize maybe I can do this. I mean, I would have glimpses at the test track. Like if I was on a track that I was comfortable on, I knew where to make my shifts. I knew like I kind of got like a program down. I was probably pretty hard to beat on that track. Like I don't know if many people could go faster than me, but then when I go to a race and you get a whole new set of obstacles with different track, different ruts. I remember I really struggled I loved it if it was a right-handed turn before whoops, because then I could leave my foot on the pegs, and so I would, when I came into the turn, make sure I had my foot in the right spot so that I could get my shift, or I would shift up to 3rd or 4th coming into the corner. But if the track had a lot of left-hand turns, I was struggling because I would have to take your foot off the peg and then put my foot back on the peg, and then I'd always have to kind of take a split second to look where I was putting it.
Jeez, I can't even imagine that. Like, where's my foot? Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, on certain tracks, certain days, I'd feel like back to me. So it was kind of like I always had that carrot dangled in front of me. I had a good team, like Kerry Hart stuck behind me, even through into RCH. Like those guys, they believed in me, and they gave me an opportunity. I think I would have lost hope on racing if it wasn't for those guys. I mean, maybe there's two thoughts. Maybe I would have taken the time to heal my body properly as good as I could have, and I would have came back but they always had a bike for me to ride, so I was always pushing myself to get back to racing and trying to be out there for them. And I think that was really what that, and Dr. G in my corner every time I had a big injury. That was that was huge.
That's gnarly, man. Yeah, good on Kerry. That's cool of them to do that. Was Kenny Watson involved still at the time?
Yeah, Watson was the team manager then.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then that same year, 2013, they had the X Games. They brought that back for Supercross, and that would have been, it was like the 3-year anniversary of me like breaking myself off, and then I led every single lap, won the heat race, fastest qualifier, led every single lap. And then Brayton got me 2 corners before the finish line. I got second, but I was still like, that was like I finally turned the page and could start to put things behind me.
So still with RCH then for 14.
Yep. Went to Australia that off season, won almost every race that I entered there if I didn't have a bike problem. So then came over and
So you're feeling kind of back to
yourself
a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heading into 14.
And that season was pretty good. I mean, a little up and down, with some of these finishes, but a lot of top 10s, and then you got a podium at East Rutherford.
Yeah, I broke my collarbone at Oakland, and I missed one race and came back and was a little bit off. And then, won the heat race. Houston was a big one for me, even though it says 12th. I qualified fastest. I was doing some massive quad nobody was doing. And then Villapoto and me had had a heat race, and he went for it behind me, and he passed me, and then I stuffed him back, and then he threw it away in the next set of whoops trying to get me back, and ended up winning the heat race. So that was like, okay, I'm back. Like I'm feeling like me. I'm doing stuff that everybody's scared of. Like I'm throwing it down. Like win the heat race, and went down in the first turn. Big first turn pile up, went down, got 12th, and then I got let go from RCH that night.
Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I was critical of the power of the bike at the wrong time, and they were trying to hire a rider, and that rider happened to walk in and hear me, and I got let go that night after I won the heat race and qualified fastest. So I knew my deal was done. I mean, they were like, we're going to take you to the last races, but you're not going outdoors. We're calling it. So that was then I was kind of trying to figure out what's up. Then the next weekend I went out I did get it at Seattle, and then I got third at East Rutherford. Another big quad I was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at his smile.
I was hyped.
He loves the big quads.
Yeah.
You do something
They
sick.
changed 2 from press day because I rode press day, and I hit this real big one, and then they took it out. And then I found another one, and they took that one out.
Why do they do that? They still do it. If somebody jumps something gnarly, they're like, oh, well, we can't have that.
Yeah.
We'll take that out.
I'm not sure.
So that's kind of weird, huh? Like, who was the rider that you would not want to say?
I don't bring anybody's names into it, but I was critical. I was like, hey, look, like, guys, I've been telling you for the last 2 years, like, we should try to get some power into this thing. But Suzuki was very they didn't want to do anything to the bike that could jeopardize its reliability at that time. So really the only thing we would ever test would be ECUs and like a pipe. And I kept telling them, like, guys, I think that we need more power. And I think Ricky kind of thought we didn't, because he always thought 450s had a lot of power. But I think we were right at that time when bikes were making a jump forward. Like bikes were getting way faster.
Yeah. Like
Yamahas were getting fast. And I think our bike was, I think it was like 56 horsepower was like the magic number that they thought was adequate. And I mean, bikes were getting a lot faster than that at that point.
Well, it depends on the rider too, right? For Ricky, he rides like wide open, so it's safer and better for him to have less. Eli straight up goes, dude, you can't give me too much. Give me more.
Yeah.
So if you're a guy that likes a lot of power, and I know Justin's the same way, he wants some grunt.
I want the power, and then I want to detune the power with my wrist.
Yeah.
I want to have power whenever I want it, like that in an ideal. Sometimes they give you power that makes the bike handle not so good because it comes on in certain ways. But anyways, I mean, the bike, best handling motorcycle of my life was that RCH bike, and I loved it. The team was great. Kerry took amazing care of me. Ricky, stuck with me. I mean, everything was good. I was being critical of the motorcycle in our own semi, showing a video how I out-jumped a privateer on the same bike as me and how he passed me down the straightaway, and this guy was much heavier than me. And I was like, guys, you think I'm letting off down the straightaway? I'm like, this thing needs more juice. I'm like, I'm getting passed by privateer. And I look behind me, and the guy they were wanting to get was behind me, and I'm like, I kind of had this sense of, that probably wasn't good. But I wasn't trying to like trash the bike. I never would ever say anything publicly about it.
If that's not a safe environment, what is?
I mean, so the next weekend I go out and ride really well, qualify fastest, win the heat. Did crash in the main, so I didn't have the best overall finish of it. But then they let me know that night that we were done, and that was kind of a heartbreak because those guys put a lot into me, and I thought I was just coming to the point where I could repay them for their investment, and I love that team and those guys. So I kind of went out in East Rutherford and got a podium almost out of spite, but it was also just I knew I was at that point again, and I beat some good riders. Like I beat.
What was
Dungey
said?
And Roxon straight up.
What was said after that on the podium and after the night? Like
nothing. I got drug tested. I remember that. We got pulled into the drug testing pool like straight off that one. So I remember celebrating on the podium. I had all my buddies up there, like everybody I had a bunch of friends at that one, and we like flooded the podium. I remember all the Monster girls were up there with me, like sticking around because I was friends with a bunch of them at that time, and it was like a big celebration. And then I just like had to run in to the drug testing pool and sat there for like 2 hours because it's hard to pee right when you got to rehydrate. And then that was about it. We didn't talk much, but I know Kerry was proud of me. I think he's always been cool to me about everything. I mean, again, I owe a lot to him being able to stay out there. So even though like it hurt my feelings at the time and I was bummed about it, like I could never blame those guys or be mad at them or hold a grudge. Like I made my own mistakes. They put in a lot of time into me and just didn't, we were parting ways. Everything good comes to an end,
Yeah. And what do they say? Everything ends badly or whatever the hell it is anyway.
Yeah. And they let me finish the season out. It's not like they fired me that night. So then we just didn't race outdoors. So I went to Canada. That was fun.
You went to Canada for the outdoors that summer?
Yeah.
How did that go?
It was good. I won a couple motos and got a bunch of podiums.
Who'd you ride for up there?
The Cowie team.
Okay.
It was Leading Edge Kawasaki. It was a monster team then.
Yeah.
And then that year it was pretty stacked. We had Canary was up there, Alessi and Freese did the Moto Concepts team up there. Fasciotti was the man. And I'd raced Fasciotti since we were kids because he was British Columbia and about the same age, like a year older.
Come down a bit,
Yeah, we were battling at young ages, so it was cool.
It's funny how those guys, like when they come and race in the U.S., they don't do that well typically, right? But you go race them in Canada, and they're fast.
You respect them a lot more when you're on their turf. I don't know if it's a mental thing. Like, they know that they're the best up there, and they hit their stride, and then they come here, and maybe they're just a little bit out of whack, or maybe I don't know. But, yeah, those guys can move in Canada. There's some dudes.
Yeah, because you'll have a Canadian guy beat you here or beat you up there, and people are like, dude, that guy he gets like 15ths down here. And it's like, yeah, but you got to see him at home. They're different. They're faster up there.
If Fasciotti would have did his career in the United States and chased that, he would have done good. I think. So. Yeah, I mean, he did 1 year on like was it like Canada or one of those privateer teams, and he showed flashes. Like he's no slouch. If he would have stayed here and stuck with it. I mean, he battled with me in Villapoto like our whole lives.
Really?
As amateurs. Like he was.
But like Klatt was gnarly.
Yeah, Dusty was.
JSR was gnarly. And JSR came down a lot. He spent a lot of years here. But like dominated in Canada. We come down here and he's like good, but not, I don't know. It's just different.
Yeah. I mean, the tracks are different, but they're not that different. They're almost, when I went there, they were cool. It was like, it reminded
Calgary?
me of.
How cool is Calgary?
Calgary's insane. Even,
Deschambault was
Deschambault is probably my favorite track I ever. Yeah, outdoor track I ever raced. Yeah, they were all cool. There's that one. It was one in Moncton, I think, that had like the Clatapult, some big.
I've never been to Moncton.
Yeah. I think that's where it was. But yeah,
I raced somewhere in Manitoba. I don't remember what that one was called. And then I did the final. Where's the final one in? Like the championship final.
Walton. Yeah,
I did Walton.
Yeah, when I was there, I did the announcers. The Canadian announcers are the best. I remember that. Regina. I raced at a wet and slippery Regina. That's what the announcers, like how they opened up. We're here at a wet and slippery Regina.
Hard not to enjoy that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
And if they had just followed up with, "What's that smell?"
No, that was I really liked it. Canada was a great time.
Yeah, it's good. Good series they got up there. All right, so 2015, what'd you do?
2015, I tried. I got Mitch was letting me ride his 450. ECC and Mitch kind of. I had some bikes between those guys, and I was racing a bunch of overseas races. So I raced Geneva. I won, like, they had a big Supercross in Africa in, what was that, the capital there, and it was some big monster thing. It was sick, a big stadium. I ended up winning that. They had, like, me and Weimer and Durham, and was racing all over in the off-season all over the world. And I was doing really good, and we were trying to figure out a way to stay with Mitch and be a 450 guy for Mitch, because I couldn't drop back to 250s at that stage.
Okay. You earned too many points then, yeah.
Yeah.
It's changed 100 times. But.
Yeah, at that time I could never drop back to 250s. So we were trying to figure out a way, because I was Monster had stuck behind me for a really long time, and we're just trying to figure out how to make that work. But I couldn't get. I think Mitch was going to let me go race with him, but I was going to have to wear all their gear, and I was going to kind of be like a bonus only. So I couldn't really get any other sponsors to, like, I was just going to have to ride for free with no side deals. So that was going to be, I couldn't bring, I wish I would have did it kind of in hindsight, but I didn't believe myself quite enough that I was going to be a podium contender all the time. And Yamaha offered, to kind of let me do my own program. And I did some stuff with,
Valley.
Yeah, Valley.
Chad Lanza?
Yeah, Chad Lanza let me borrow his toy hauler, and Yamaha gave me some equipment, and then Ross from Enzo got me some trick suspension parts, and like it basically in December we put together a little race team and went race, and Larry was helping me out. Larry wasn't doing a whole lot, and Larry stepped up and tried to like help the program, and just kind of out of the kindness of his heart. I don't think I was making enough money. I don't think I paid him a dime, and he was just showing up, like helping me out. Like that was really cool of him. But I struggled. I don't know. I didn't gel with that Yamaha back then extremely well, and I don't know. I think 10th was the best that I got in our efforts together. I wasn't good. Yeah. And then after the West Coast was done, I realized I didn't get enough sponsors coming in to really make sense of this. We kind of started out like, hey, let's just see how the West Coast goes. And then I got on Rock River. Rock River reached out and was like, hey, we'll take you racing for the rest of the series. So I went and did that, and it was just I'd never done the privateer style thing before and didn't really understand what it took at that point, and I guess how abruptly things drop off, I guess. And then, but I still we were working with what we had.
Go into a little more detail there. Like, yeah, you'd been a factory guy up to this point, and a lot of things are taken care of. The expectation of equipment is a certain level. Salary, bonuses, everything at the pointy end is pretty good. So now you're getting to see kind of how the other half lives.
Yeah, I mean, we were just trying to chase down a practice bike. We were trying to chase down, like, just a lot of things. I mean, it was just an underfunded team that was trying to, make as much out of it as they possibly could, and they tried their butt off. But I wasn't prepared for that yet, And then I think I maybe got an 8th place with Rock River at Atlanta or something. I mean, we were trending, we were going in the right direction. And then Daytona, I went and stayed back east and did some training throughout that, and went to Daytona, and I think I was on the board, like I was saying. Then I had that big crash and tried to double 2 singles and clipped the end of one and went over the bars, 3rd gear pinned, and got packed by the bike. Pretty decent head injury, and pretty decent concussion. Broke like my whole rib cage, ripped my plate off, the collarbone plate off, and punctured my lung. So, yeah, and I remember having to drive myself home and from Florida back to California because I couldn't fly because I punctured my lung. And
did you rent a car, or what did you do?
Yeah, and it was gnarly, man. Yeah. And I wasn't making good money, and I was yeah, and then I got pneumonia when I got back from that. And I remember just being coughing, like being by myself in my little Temecula house, just barely being able to get myself out of bed and just thinking, this sucks.
Yeah.
I'm over this. Like, I don't think I want to do this anymore. Racing's gnarly. I've had too many injuries. It just keeps getting worse, man. It's not going the right direction no more. So I kind of had told that to the guys at Monster that I was thinking about, I was thinking about being done, hanging up the gloves. And they were like, okay, well, it just so happened somebody was, Ash Hodges, who works at Monster, the Dirt Shark, he was kind of transitioning into that media role and not going to be the team manager anymore of the freestyle and supercross, motocross teams for Monster. And so they offered me that job. So I had a soft landing.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that helped sway my decision to quit racing, but definitely big injury. Just kept hammering my body, just wasn't making money like I was used to, and I was like, this ain't worth it no more. So they put me in that role as the team manager, and I mean, that's about as cool of an industry job as you could possibly get, I'd say, with the amount of access to cool stuff going on and the riders. And really, it's not like I'm not working on bikes, I'm just making sure the top level athletes have hats and monsters to drink. And
it's a cool job. I mean, dream job.
Yeah, and entertaining, like going out and setting up, little get-togethers. And I mean, it was fun. Still going to every single race, still being around all my friends. It was awesome. Yeah, it was cool.
So you did that for 3 years, you said, right?
Yeah, from 15 to 18. So I guess maybe just under 3 years, but
okay.
Yeah, and then heading into we started. Basically, I brought on, like, Axel Hodges was kind of, he was in the hospital with me at Daytona. We were on this big trip. We went and we filmed at Ricky's house in 2015. We filmed the goat farm video where we were just jumping all these big jumps out at Ricky's house and ripping around with Ricky. And then we went to Daytona, and then both of us broke ourselves off. He was in the hospital and I was in the hospital. He raced the amateur day and got weeded. And then, so he was kind of like, I always rode with him, and he's an amazingly, like, talented rider, super fast, but just ultra sick at riding. So when I started to work at Monster, he didn't get like a good racing offer to go race Supercross, and you've kind of, peaked out in the amateurs in the A stuff. And so we kind of brought him on as like, let's see what this kid can do type thing, and gave him an opportunity in like the video making space. And, so I guess I just started riding with him a bunch, like playing around, trying to, at that point, maybe trying to elevate him a little bit, just trying to show him what was possible, because he was a young kid, and then he took that ball and ran with it, and then we just started doing these projects like Doonies, like, and all these cool video projects, and I would still ride in these things because I'd go scout jumps and go try to find the biggest stuff we could, and anytime we were doing projects, I'd try to be involved with like the building and setting stuff up, and I just loved it, and started having so much fun on a bike, but I was doing it in my spare time. Whenever if there was an excuse, like one of the guys riding for me was like, "Yeah, bring your bike." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be there." Be there in 20 minutes, So
that's crazy that you can just still jump on. I mean, how much are you riding?
Right now?
Well, even through this time all the way to now. I mean, are you couple times a week?
Probably, yeah. I mean, once a week maybe is when I would be riding, like when I was working in the office. But, or, I just loved it. I couldn't get enough. I'd sneak off and ride every time I could, because Monster had some Kawasaki's. They had a deal there where they'd get some free bikes that just sit in some underground storage. So I talked them into letting me swoop up a couple of those and drop them off with Mitch. And I was having a good time, and we were, it was a really fun time in life. We were running around, no stress. I started riding bikes, really fell in love with it again. Kind of got the chance to ride for fun and really learn how to kind of be safe again, because I was almost just pushing myself just to get back into racing, like not without getting back to the fundamentals. And I just started having fun, and we started going bigger and bigger, and Axel was coming into his own, and we were just pushing the limit. Bierman was around a lot too, and we were just having a really good time.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed, and I don't say this to just blow a bunch of smoke up your ass. Like I've really, when it comes to free riding stuff, you and Axel are kind of the guys I like to watch. Just
Thanks.
because you guys will go huge, and Bearman, I guess I got to put him in that category too.
He does too.
But you guys are so technically dialed, really. Also, your technical skills on a bike. You obviously have the pedigree in racing. Axel didn't really do much in racing, but watching him with his stoppies and just the things he do, and you're like, how are you doing that? Backflip and land in a wheelie and ride it out. I mean, like, what?
Yeah, he's taken that ball and just taken it to a whole nother level. I mean, it's sick.
So it's really, anyway, I was saying, I really like the free riding stuff over the freestyle. No knock on those guys, but it's like, I kind of feel like I've seen it all, and I don't want to see people flip more flips, go to 4 or whatever the heck's coming next. Like, I just don't even want to see it. It's too sketchy. I know some of those guys are already doing 3 on the big super kicker stuff, like out at Travis's. And
yeah, I respect the hell out of it. I've got some really good friends like, Jackson Strong, Harry Bink, like guys that lifelong buddies that do it. And I can't really fathom like what they're doing. Like they're insane. And, it's just 2 different thought processes, right? They're just seeing the craziest thing that they can possibly do off a, 75-foot ramp or, something that's portable that you can put in front of a crowd. Yeah. And then for us on the free ride stuff, we're just kind of it's really just seeing who can have do the wildest thing, like who's going to who's going to send that. Like, I think we could make that. Like, let's kick a little lip on it. It's pretty, it's maybe different.
Maybe it's because I can relate to it because I've gone to, spent so much time at Beaumont and Recce just free riding, like finding a hill and going, ooh, if I shoveled a little lip here, we could go to there. And that's putting that together and making it happen is so fun.
I think, were you in that? You were in Action Figures, that movie, right? And you guys made like a sick free ride outdoor style track out in the hills somewhere. I remember that was like my first taste of like seeing that and thinking, dude, that looks fun. I can't wait to do that one day.
Yeah, I probably maybe spent too much time out there, but if it rained, like I was in the hills. And I took Ricky for the first time. I took GL for the first time. Like a lot of these guys that were teammates. I'm like, hey, let me go show you. And Ricky, to this day, we just actually put a clip up from his show, and he goes, one of the best days of my life was when you took me to Recce Canyon the first time. Best days on a motorcycle. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Yeah. It's amazing. So I see that when I watch you guys do this stuff, and I won't do it anymore, but like, I kind of get it. You know what I mean? I know what you're doing. Where the freestyle stuff, I'm just like, yeah, I would never try that. I'm not flipping. I'm not doing barrel rolls or front flips. So anyway, I really dig the free ride stuff.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then I guess while we're talking about Axel, maybe one of the funniest pieces of video I've ever seen in my life is his old man bombing into the
blackberry bushes. Yeah.
Dude, I laughed so hard. I was literally crying when he falls in the second time. Like the first time you're kind of like, it's funny, you're smiling. His cigar is like all blown up, but still in his mouth. And then he just gets on and falls in again. And dude, I lost it.
Yeah. That family is, there's Ash, the oldest brother. He was the monster guy for a long time. Dirt Shark. I've been friends with him forever since he was a boot guy at Alpine Star in early 2000s. And then the middle brother, Austin. He's like the team manager for snowboard at Monster.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I didn't even know they had a middle brother.
Yeah, he's one of the funniest guys ever. The dad is like, it's the family is nonstop. They're definitely. They need a reality show. They're so funny.
For sure.
They're a blast to be around. You definitely get a lot of laughs. And yeah, PH on that one. We cut it out. He was trying to go a third time. The look in his eyes, I thought he was just going to try to like go through the sticker bushes as hard as he was so fired up. It was that was fun.
And Axel going, Dad, are you all right? Like you could tell he's genuinely concerned. It just made it so funny.
Justin just like picks him up by his pants, like pantses him, pulled him out of it. I mean, when you're in the sticker bushes like that, I don't know if most people have fallen in the blackberry bushes or anything, but I mean, the thorns are like, it inch and a half
everything,
long, and when you're in them, the more you try to move, the more of them get you. It's not a fun experience. And, Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah,
but he was okay right when he got up. You know, as soon as he was out of it and he wiped his face off, you know, he looked fine. Like, he wasn't like there was any lasting damage, but that didn't feel good.
But it was just so damn funny. All right, let's talk about some of the other stuff you've done. Hill climbing, because you got into this a little bit, and I loved seeing it because I did a handful of them with the Peterson family. I don't know if you know them.
Yeah,
Brett and Carrie Peterson's like a legend in that sport. So they let me use their bikes and went and did Carnegie up in Central Cal, and then we did one at Glen Helen with Kurt Caselli and Mickey Diamond. A handful of us came out. How fun is that, dude? What an underrated discipline, huh?
This is unreal. Yeah, so 2018, my boss over there at Dave Gallen, he was like, dude, we can see you love riding. Like, let's, like, if you want to, we'll get you back out there. So come up with like a schedule of cool, different events. Like, we want you to go do some supercrosses overseas that we sponsor that we don't have many riders show up for. Like, we want to just have a helmet and that can battle up front at some of these events. So I was like, that is a dream job.
And so this is you leaving Monster, the role you were in, and going kind of on your own, doing video stuff.
Yeah, he offered it to me. He's like, do you want to stay here? Like, because he's like, if you're going to stay here, like, we probably got to get you off the bike a little bit because you're starting to ruffle a little bit of feathers again. Like, you're riding a lot, you know, like, I don't know. You know, so I started popping up in some of the videos a lot, and I'm supposed to be the team manager.
Yeah, right.
Kind of thing. So he's like, do you want to ride or do you want to do this? I'm like, man, I can't. I love riding too much. That's going to be hard. I might kick myself later for turning this, for leaving this company as an employee and going back as an athlete. But that's what they put me on to do. So he gave me this opportunity. So, and at that time we wanted to do some European Supercross stuff. And there was snow biking was a thing at that time. It was an X Games. So he's like, yeah, go snow bike, go free ride, go race some overseas Supercrosses and just try to generate content and come up with, give us a couple of videos a year that we can, that are cool. So that was kind of how I got back into riding and got out of the office, from just doing it weekend warrior style to back actually in the mix doing stuff. Yeah. And then, it just so happened like all factory Yamaha's guys got hurt that year, Barsha and Webb, and I get done. I just won the AMA Snowbike National Championship, which is
really,
you probably never heard of it. It was they ran it for a few years.
Okay,
and then so I won that, and I get a call, and the guy's like, hey, yeah, it's Keith McCarty. We want you to come back to racing Supercross for us. I'm thinking it's a prank call, yeah. But it was real, and it was like at first it threw me off.
What year was that?
2018.
Okay.
So they brought me back for Seattle, my home Supercross. I come back, I'm like Fox put me back on the team, like heading into this year of factory Yamaha Monster Fox, and I show up I only had like a week to prepare, so I fly down. I'm overweight. I was probably like the fattest I've ever been at that point because you're putting on some weight. Like snow biking at that point wasn't, it was a fun sport.
Right.
We were putting on our winter coats.
Yeah.
So yeah, he called me and I showed up, and then it was just the biggest mud race I've ever seen at Seattle, which was great for me because I wasn't prepared, and I took off. I think I got like 4th or 5th in the heat race. I remember letting Cooper by in the last turn, Cooper Webb, because I think I was filling for Barsha, the first one. And then I was running 4th till like past halfway in the main, and I slid out and fell down. And yeah, it didn't end up good. I think I was like 20th, but it was still like I just out of the blue, racing snow bikes, haven't raced in 3 years, get called to factory Yamaha. Like, it was just one of those things. It was too good to be true, it seemed like. And then the following weekend, I didn't go to Minneapolis, and then Cooper got hurt. So they needed a fill-in guy again. And so then I finished out the season in Salt Lake and Vegas. But I mean, I was just barely making them. I was making the mains, but it wasn't nothing.
Yeah. I
wasn't prepared at all for that opportunity.
So yeah, well, and then you went back and rode 250 East for somebody. Where was this?
Then I did
2020?
Yeah, I did 2018, I was coming back. I filmed a pretty wild video part in 2018 that year I did like that nose wheelie front flip thing and was like flipping again. And
Was that where you jumped up to a platform?
Yeah, I jumped onto Danger Boy's tree fort.
Yeah.
I put a ramp to Danger Boy's tree fort and then put a landing, and I gapped to it, landed a nose wheelie, and then did a front flip out of his tree fort to a landing. And then I filmed video stuff all year, just trying to think of the craziest stuff I could do. I would come to like local tracks with like wood ramps to jump fences to get big runs to like gap table to table and just a bunch of that stuff. And then I got hooked up with, I started developing that Alta in 2016. And then I raced straight rhythm. Like I would take vacation days to go do that stuff, race straight rhythm on that thing. And then, so I just wanted that to have a stealth free ride bike. So then we started, I just went full free ride for 2018. And then I tried to get ready I was supposed to race Monster Cup and I broke my wrist and, had to take some time off. And then 2019, I got called to go race CDR. I kept doing snowbike stuff and like kind of odd projects. And then 2019 is when I did my first hill climb event and then started going to, I actually kind of kicked off a lot of stuff. I was doing X Games, step up, and quarter pipe. And then did a hill climb race and went and tested the bike at Millville. Because Jay Salstrom was the guy with, he had all these nitro bikes and said I could borrow one for Pogue's Hole, which is like this big New York, big money, big crowd, nasty hill climb. And he called me up and like, hey, would you want to try this? And I had nothing like keeping me from doing it. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll try it out. And it was the funnest thing I've ever done. I was on a Nitro R6.
Aren't theirs different? It's just like a straight run, and there's like little levels.
No, this one, Pogue's Hole was like a West Coast hill.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't like the Devil's Staircase where it's like groomed, like grass, like just like staircased.
Yeah.
This one, you took off and immediately had like kind of kicker jumps, and then they did have the breaks in the hill, like the roads that you had to kind of gap, but you couldn't really roll them. They were like gapped out, and then the top got gnarled, and like not very many people make it over the top of this one. But I got on a nitrous R6 that was like 10 feet long that Jay Salstrom let me borrow, and then I brought my 450, and I had it built for snow bikes, so it was pretty fast. Like Junior Jackson built the engine. I don't know if you remember that
Junior.
name.
Yeah.
He got known for building really fast like hill climb bikes because he got into that too.
Okay.
And pulled up to this race, didn't really have any idea what it was going to be like, and I ended up just kind of dominating, won the overall, like won King of the Hill, like
shut up,
and walked out of there with like 15 grand and like the funnest experience of one of the funnest experiences of my life. Like everybody was cool. There was like 10,000 spectators there. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have to do this again.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It's such a fun group of people because they're kind of, pretty redneck, but there's no one's making a huge career out of it, right? So it's like, it's just a really tight-knit community. It's like old school moto when you were an amateur kid. Like that's what it always reminded me of, like that, just that good family vibe.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, and everybody, you don't, other than the side-by-side 450 racing, like you don't really go head-to-head. So I think when it's not like a contact sport like Supercross where there's 20 of us, and at some point in your career, like pretty much everybody on the lines killed each other at some point.
Yeah.
So you held a little bit of animosity, even though you probably don't. Like I got done racing and I don't have really animosity towards anybody.
Yeah.
But when you're in the moment, it's hard not to have a little bit. So I don't know. It doesn't seem like it has that same type of build-up because we're not really actually injuring each other out there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's really cool. The snow bike stuff, I want to go back to that. Are you racing like these, like what is it, Regan Sieg and those guys that are gnarly?
Regan, I don't think he really raced. He was just backcountry guy.
Because some of these guys are like really, really good at it.
Yeah. So it was the kid that, I don't know, this is not cool that I'm blanking on everybody's names, but Keaton Ward's the one that got me into it. Him and his family, like he lived in Montana.
Okay.
And so that's where we trained for it, is up in Montana. And
Where about in Montana?
Bozeman.
Bozeman. Okay.
Yeah, Bozeman area. And he got a piston bully dropped off at one of his family's property, and we had the sickest. It was like full blown MX track, 90-foot downhill doubles, 6 step ups. Like, we had the most ultimate snow bike course, and it was one of the funnest things that I've ever done. Maybe not so much as like the riding them, because snow bikes are slow and heavy. Like, you put a 450 motor on it, you put that kit, you put that kit on there, it feels like an XR 200 with the front brake stuck on. Like, because you got all this drag on but in the right conditions, they're really fun. But just the camaraderie of that one too. It was like this new sport. You're trying to figure it out. You're racing your buddy. Jimmy Jarrett, I don't know if you remember that name. He's an off-road guy. He was really good at it. Yeah, and then X Games. I think the best I ever got at X Games was 4th. Yeah, I always choked at X Games, but I won a bunch of stuff. We were doing the ISOC races for a little bit too, where the Amsoil or whatever, the snowmobile championship, we would race in that. But we were sort of like the quads of that championship.
Oh, really?
Like, we messed up the track. We thought they messed up the track. Like, the tracks were built for those guys. They got 3 times, 4 times as much horsepower than us, so they look way cooler. Yeah. Like, we might be able to go faster because we're carrying all this momentum through the turns and railing, but like, we're scrubbing the jumps, staying low, like they're hitting these triples and quads. Like, we were like the squids of that.
You guys were rollerblading around the track.
Yeah, we were rollerblading at a skateboard event, like that was the vibe we got. So it was kind of like the writing was on the wall when there wasn't a company like Arctic Cat or Polaris or anybody like making a snow bike that you could buy from the shop that was actually like made for snow biking, because we would just have to take bikes and then spend another $10,000 to make the thing competitive. Like, so you're talking your $15,000 to $20,000 with like minimum.
I know, it's a shame too, because like the chassis geometry wouldn't have to be as precise as it is for moto, right? In the snow, you could build, you just got to build a powerful engine, put it in a whatever chassis, right? It'd be fine.
Well, I think the thing is you were taking a motorcycle where the swing arm pivot would normally be like that. That's where you put the track system in, was through the swing arm pivot. So the track doesn't even start until behind your feet. Where the snowmobile, the tracks are in front of where you stand. So you're basically standing on the flat platform of the tracks, where the snow bikes were, you basically, it was like riding a motorcycle with a trailer. It was so far back.
Yeah. They're long.
They're like 9.5 feet long or something like that. So
I had one day on them, and it was a company that's not even around anymore. I don't remember the name of it, but they closed Mammoth in the spring. The Lincoln Mountain on the east side had just shut down, and they said, you guys can run this whole mountain. Just go out and have fun. And I brought up a TLD race bike at the time, supermoto engine, so fast. Mounted the whole kit up, and we laid out a track on that ski hill. And he built a couple jumps with the snow machine. Dude, I had ruts, like braking bumps and ruts that were like, I'm scooping snow with my radiator strap.
Yeah.
It was a blast. One of the best all-time days I've ever had on a motorcycle.
When the conditions are good, it is one of the funnest things you'll ever do.
Yeah.
But when the conditions are bad, like, and it's icy or you're hitting rock, or it's like, it is the worst experience you can have. You're freezing, you'd be racing in like -20, -30, like trying to fix a part on your bike, like with your fingers. And I remember, like, at that time, I was kind of just trying to penny pinch. Like, so my program was, I had the smallest trailer with I didn't know how to, like, my setup sucked.
Yeah.
I hadn't invested in my setup again yet, because I went from like, got rid of all that kind of stuff and like worked an office job, and then they kind of unexpectedly put me back into the mix of being an athlete and trying to do this again, and straight into snow bikes. And I was just huddled around like a space heater in my trailer, like trying to work on stuff. It was roughing it, but it was good for me. I had so much fun. And then like Keaton Ward, he was old, pro motocross racer. His family was awesome. They looked after me and tried to help me out as much as they could. We had a really good time.
It's probably a good setup for your foot, because if it gets cold, you can't even feel it.
Yeah, you don't even know.
You got like the black foot, like Mr. Deeds.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about Big Hill Jam. What was the concept of this thing originally? And like, it seems like it's growing, and Jeff has been, I haven't been, but like, it looks like a blast.
Yeah, I mean, it started like we just did it as a video project during COVID because like none of it, COVID happened, and I'd kind of just started getting back to racing a bunch to Australia. Did the Club MX thing for a couple of rounds before COVID hit, and that stopped the series. And I was doing real moto that year, so I didn't. I ended up going and trying to finish my real moto project, and then wanted to do something for Monster Energy. They were looking for stuff to fill the time slots at that point during COVID because not much was happening. I'm like, hey, I got this cool property where I grew up. We could build some big jumps, invite hill climbers, racers, super freestyle guys out and just have fun while nothing's open. So we did that, and it was cool. And then when everything got back to, you could have events and you could have gatherings and stuff again, I talked my parents into letting me host it on their property. So I just started going out, and basically I used to just have tracks all over the 120 acres they got up there in Oregon. And I just started like going around going, all right, this track's going to have to go. We need parking. So we just started making parking decks and just made an event out of the grassroots. We had the guys from Motoclimb Super Series. Matt was like, hey, we'd be down to have a race because we have a massive hill. Like, I mean, maybe not massive is like by their standards, but
pretty good size.
It's big.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably like 450 like elevation from top to bottom, if I had to guess. It's pretty big. Yeah. So they were like, yeah, we'll do one of our national rounds there at your event. And I was like, all right. So then we pulled together like let's see how much money we can get for like a best whip contest, and as much, let's see what kind of sponsors we can get for a pit bike race. And basically just the whole thing behind it is trying to get all my buddies together and trying to make it, pool enough money from sponsors to where I can get good riders out and get them to come have a fun weekend and leave paid and happy.
Yeah.
And put on a show for the fans, really. And so pit bikes and best whip has always just been a part of it because those are probably fans can relate to those things the easiest, and they're the easiest to put on. So those have been like kind of a staple in what we're doing. And that, the whip guys are always looking for a contest. Outside of X Games, there's
not a ton for them. Yeah.
There's no growth in the freestyle community right now. Like we don't have any good. I mean, there's a lot of amazing riders, but there's no opportunities. There's no amateur contests. There's no stepping stone events. It's like you're either X Games or you're some guy with black plastic.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can go and find shows and do little shows here and there, but yeah, there's no contests or stuff like that. It's been way out.
Yeah, there's no feeder, and then like the X Games they'll have the same 6 guys in best whip that have been there since 2000 and for 10 years pretty much. I mean, they might one person might kind of interchange. So there's not a whole lot of hope if you're a kid that throws really big whips and you want to get noticed. I mean, Instagram helps you get noticed, but we just tried to kind of build something that would get people noticed. And I think, quite a few people have gotten some X Games invites and things from the contest. And, every year we try to raise the prize purse, and, we're getting it to where it's like, I think we were $50,000 and when we over 50,000 that we did it at CGI. And then I think we just missed the 50,000 mark this last week and had a couple of sponsors pull out last second. But yeah, I just try to get as much, I think there was like $66,000 what they were paying Supercross races for the longest time. And I'm like, yeah, I need to get to that, so we did every year. Every sponsor that we get, we just try to put it into the event so guys can get paid.
That's right. It's summertime.
Yeah, we always usually do it in the summer. Yeah.
And it's back east now. You did one back east, right?
We just did one back east. So we started doing it at my parents' house, and it was what started as like, oh, let's just do this little fun thing, like turned into thousands of people. Yeah. And it turned into like looking like a national event out there. And my dad isn't, I think I could, if I twisted his arm, I'm sure we could have it out there again. There's nothing like saying we can't have it there anymore, but I'd like to find I just want to test it out. I mean, I want to take it around, bring it to different markets, figure it out. I didn't know if I could even do it anywhere other than Oregon, and then we did it on the East Coast at CGI facility, and it was awesome. And then this last year, instead of doing it at my parents' house, we did it at Albany Motorsports Park, track I grew up at. Really good friends with the owners that run it, and they've got a great infrastructure already with all that kind of stuff, and it made it easier for me instead of having to build roads and fix water systems. And
liability is tough, I'm sure, for your parents. Like, you take on a lot of risk.
Yeah, I was just getting insurance, and those are all things that I had to do. My wife helped me out a lot. She helped run the website. I mean, it was kind of we didn't know what it was going to be. We just knew that there was something there and it needed to happen, and I had the place for it. So we started having them out there, and then as it kind of outgrew what my parents wanted going on at their property, we started just looking for other homes. Yeah.
Well, we'll let us know as you guys get ready to start promoting that. We'll help push it because it's a blast.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
Like I said, when he went out and covered it, he came back just going, dude, next year we need to all go. It's really fun.
It's grassroots, really. It's like,
that's what makes it cool.
It's grassroots with a few household names. Yeah. Is, I guess, probably the best way to put it. And like, if you're an amateur, you can come out and ride, and you're going to just be bumping elbows with these guys, and they're going to be a bit more accessible than in a Supercross and have their hair down a little more. Yeah. It's fun.
What about the distance stuff, like what Raha's been doing lately? Any of that interest you? I mean, that seems like it's up your alley, kind of setting records, going like 300 and freaking some feet. Or is that kind of like,
I'll beat any record in the world if somebody wants to give me $1 million to do it. I don't see any of that stuff and think, I couldn't do that. Yeah. But I'm also not going to go do it for, like, if you want to give me $1 million to go break the world record, like, I'm sorry, Matt, I have a ton of respect for you, but I'm beating that world record. But I'm not going to do it for free. Yeah, right. Like, nobody can out jump me on a dirt bike. But I'm not also going to go spend $80,000 to build a ramp to then try to host some show and put all that. Like, but if somebody wants the record broken, they should call me. Raha seems to kind of have, like, he seems to really like that stuff. Like, he tries to chase those records and has really kind of put his focus towards that, and that's pretty cool. He's doing some big stuff. But I feel like a lot of we've done some stuff in the hills and in the dunes that I guarantee is bigger than whatever the record is for natural or from dirt to dirt distance that we didn't even bring a tape to. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I would be down for distance stuff, but it's the risk to do it. It's like, just if there's got to be money involved in it to spend that type of time and effort, because you got to make sure your bike's tight. Oh, yeah. You got to do a lot of calculations. You got to take a lot of, I mean, if you do all your calculations right, it's probably very, very smooth. But, just if you're trying to rush it, do it in front of a live audience, there's a lot of different things that go into it that are gnarly. You know, like, that's why, like, respect to Matto for pulling off so many, like, the gnarliest, like, records ever and doing them in front of a live crowd is in, like, just the air temp, like, things change. Yeah. Like, the distance that you're going to sail, when you start talking 400 feet, you're just a hair off on the lip, like, you just a half degree off, like, you better have a real wide landing. Yeah. Or if it's windy or if just the air's thicker, it's gnarly. But if somebody wants to pay me $1 million, I'll do it.
All right. Well, you called them out. I love it. Arena cross. You did a bunch of these back east. Are you going to do more of those?
Yeah, I'm sure I will. Yeah. This year I've been heavily kind of just working on projects. I just came up with this, we did the Hill Jam this last summer. We did it at Albany, and it was awesome. And then I rolled straight into another project I did for Monster Energy. It's called they called it Logged Out. And I went to my parents' property. We got a big insect problem with like beetles and stuff getting into the trees.
Bark beetle.
Yeah, they're killing off a bunch of the fir trees. So I guess the best way to deal with it is to cut the trees out of that area. So I talked to my dad. I'm like, hey, got this idea. You want to let me cut down some trees? And he agreed to let me cut down anything that was dead. So me and Chad, he owns CGI facility, and my buddy Zach, we went out there with the dozer and some chainsaws and just started chopping down anything dead on my property. Cut out a pad and made like a supercross, motocross, and like freestyle course that's mainly built out of logs or milled lumber that we milled on the site.
Oh, really? No dirt over it.
I mean, there's some dirt kind of like up to it, like in some areas, like the berms, the banks. I just kind of made like almost like fences, but out of just big logs, and then put them in like to where you basically wall riding up on the side of walls and fences that are curved for berms. And I would put like a little bit of dirt just to kind of, so you weren't just like splatting just into a wall. Make a little
transition.
Yeah. So you could kind of and get up onto it. Step on, step offs, rhythm sections. I got big pipes, like 6 foot culverts for whoops, and
oh my gosh.
Bunch of just took my whole dad's property and just made like a course all the way through it. So that was 3 months of hard work.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a ton of work, dude.
And then once, you
you shot it already?
Yeah, we shot it, and then it's coming out.
Okay.
It's coming out. I think December 9th is when that sees light of day. So just around the corner.
Yeah. So logged out.
Yeah, coming out soon. And
by the time this drops, it'll be out. So go check it out.
Probably, go check it out. Main reason I was in California was we buttoning up this project, making sure they had all their assets for that.
So is that Ash shooting all that?
Not this one.
Okay.
This one was with the Headstrong team. They filmed a lot of stuff with Jackson Strong, Jacko.
Okay. Yeah.
They're based out of Australia. Really good guys. But yeah.
Dang, I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. So, but this year I basically just got done with that, and I was gone away from my house for 5 months, and I was just trying to fill other time. I jumped on Axel's little his Slay World video series he's doing, and
that's what you were down there for. Okay.
Well, yeah, he was up in the Northwest.
Oh,
with that.
You guys rode Washougal and
so we rode Washougal, and then while I was out there, I did the Washington Nitro Nationals that's owned by the Petersons, and raced that, which that was really cool. Really cool hill. That's the one that have the 2 freestyle ramps to start it off. Like, it's like you have a metal grate start, and then you go straight into 2 FMX ramps for the the 450 side by side.
Okay.
So did that. Yeah, I just keep my schedule as busy as I can. I'm trying to create YouTube content. I'm trying to do Instagram stuff. I'm trying to do the Hill Jam event, sponsor projects, and Monster. Luckily, they've been keeping me kind of busy, so that's really cool.
That's rad.
As I'm getting older,
you got a cool thing going on, man. I'm happy for you. This next question here is our Seat Concepts hot seat question, guys. If you need a new seat cover, a full complete seat, something custom, they've got cold weather, wet weather seats, anything you need. Check them out, seatconcepts.com. I want to talk about the Varg because you've ridden that a bit, yeah? I know you were using that Alta quite a bit back in those when it came out and doing this urban stuff. And what is it, urban rider, urban cowboy? What was the video you did out at the Wet and Wild?
Yeah, out at what did we call that? Urban Rider. Urban Rider, yeah. Kalani Rob hit me up because we were messing around on these, like they were called Kubergs. Our friend was the importer, and we were just riding them around town. I was actually staying in San Clemente for a little bit. Anyways, so we were riding those things around probably places you weren't supposed to, but you couldn't get in trouble because they were, nobody knew what to think. Like, nobody knew what they were. Yeah. It was like, is that a mountain bike? Is that a dirt bike? Like, they were, yeah. And anyways, he took over, it was Wet and Wild, and they were turning it into the Palm Springs Surf Club. Yep. So now they got that surf wave out there. And before they tore out all the water slides and all that stuff, he's like, you think you could ride this stuff? I'm like, yeah, definitely. So we pulled up with the Alta at that time, and then Dunlop made me some like street bike tires that fit my rims, and that was it. That stuff was slippery.
That was sketchy, bro.
One of the scariest things I've ever done.
The straight drop, that's scary going down on, in your swim trunks. Like, I can't imagine standing and rolling in, because if you got off balance a little bit, you're cooked.
That was my first project that Monster was like, yeah, we'll put you back into, make us a video. And they gave me like, the video budget was like a tenth of what anybody else, it would really take to do that video properly. So I had to film all of it in one day. No, like, any safety measures at all.
Wow.
Like, I just went out there. I'm like, I'm going to have to figure out how to ride this. We filmed it all in one day. And then the only thing that we didn't film in the one day is I did the loop. They had that, like, the royal flush or whatever, where you come down.
The toilet bowl,
Yeah, and it's like a big, massive loop. And the first time I tried to do it, actually, that was the very first thing I did. I'm like, I got to get the gnarliest thing out of the way now. So I just tried to roll in and just hit that big loop. And where I was hitting it was probably like, I would say probably 25 feet, like, vertical height. And I'm like, I got to go fast. And when I came in, and right as I got on the gas, it was like the back end just stepped out, and I just spun the whole loop without my bike.
I saw.
Yeah, and then so
I can't believe you didn't fall, like, straight down. Like, thank God you followed it around, just sort of slid.
Yeah, I didn't have a scratch on me. It was the greatest thing. I scared the camera guys, because then my bike comes, like, flying up the chute. Yeah. They're in there in the hole trying to get the video, and my bike comes flying at them. Luckily, nobody got hurt, and so then I'm like, okay, we got to figure it out. So we went and got a big ladder and some grip tape. Yeah. And then at least grip tape the first half where I'd be on the gas, and then so we had to go back and do that. And I had to just film that with my buddies, because the guy that was producing it, the big producer guy, wouldn't pay to have another good camera guy out there. So I had to come out of pocket on that one. Jeez. And I ended up doing that whole edit myself. My brother did the music on it. He
voiced over the beginning.
He's voiced over the beginning and made the whole song, the whole track, because we were just like, I wanted to create something good, and didn't want to have to come back and ask him for more money. So I was like, we just did what we could do, and that was a cool opportunity.
Yeah, like the Sam Elliott voice at the beginning. Well, that's Justin, 100%. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. What was the sketchiest part of that? The loop, or was it the drop?
No, that drop. The drop was scary because the frame wouldn't clear it. Oh. Like can you drop in on a skate park or something, like your frame won't clear. And then I had no room to back, because it was just like the steps and that, like, little pool thing where the water fills up and you hold on. So I couldn't back up and get any sort of run into it and carry any momentum. And I had to get enough traction to pop my front wheel up, is what I tried to do. So when I did it, I tried to pop the front wheel up, and the bike just spun sideways as I was dropping in. Oh. And I remember, like, the first part of it, I was pushing off of the rail. Like, my foot was like grinding the side, and I was like kind of just trying to edge it off, because that would have been like a 70. I would have died.
I think you'd have died.
Yeah, it was like 70 feet probably off the ground, and it was rock that I was coming off of. That was just don't think about it, just ride down this thing. And then once he got over the knuckle, it was you just ride down it. Yeah. But it was that was kind of scary. That was probably stupid.
What's your thoughts on the electric bikes? It's super divisive. Like, some people hate it. They're like, if this is what our sport goes to, I'm done. And it's kind of like, oh, all right. I don't know what'll happen with them, but, like, what are your thoughts? Because the Varg it's pretty fun to ride. My only complaint is I can't ride it that long without having to charge the battery.
Yeah, I mean, I don't ever want to see electric replace gas bikes. Like,
no.
I don't think 4-strokes made racing better.
They made it worse.
I think they made it worse, and I think every time you make a better piece of equipment, it doesn't always turn into better competition. I do think that electric definitely has a place in the sport. I think they're the funnest bikes. Like, especially if you have 3 or 4 buddies and you all have the same bike, and you can just, like, talk to each other. Or if you have a backyard track, and your neighbor doesn't probably want to hear you riding your dirt bike all the time, which I understand that, and I try to respect that wherever I am. Like, so for me, like, I feel like I could have a pretty cool, if you got 10, 15 acres, you could probably have a pretty cool track in town if you got electric bikes. So I think that side of it is awesome. I think, like, the free riding aspect of it, going and riding areas where gray area, or maybe you probably shouldn't be there, but if nobody hears you, you're probably going to have a good time still. It's just like anything. If you're respectful with it, I think it's a great thing. But now it's I don't know. I was playing around with the Surons a lot. Like, or anything that's been electric, I've kind of been involved with it. I've worked with Suron. I've worked with Alta. I've worked with Stark. I think, I got to test that bike one of the first times it hit ground. So it was cool to be involved in that. And I don't really care to race them. Like,
really?
I don't think.
Didn't you do some arena cross or some European stuff races? In
I did a 1v1 with against Ricky Carmichael on an Alta in Geneva, Switzerland in like 2017. I raced him at Straight Rhythm. That was fun. I think that's like a great place for him. But racing them in Supercross, I think, is lame. Like against gas bikes. Yeah. Like if we get 4 different manufacturers making e-bikes, like e-motos, and we want to have an e-moto class, and hell, they might end up getting faster than the gas bikes. I think that's cool. But I just don't really get how you mix them right now.
You can't.
I mean, the World Supercross is doing a really good job, I think. I think they have the power. Maybe it's probably pretty even, I would think, in that 250 class, and I think they have it underpowered in the 450 class. Like, I think that I think that's why Freese is struggling. I think where they put the limits on that bike, and then also not being able to make the bike lighter than 265 pounds or whatever it is. Yeah. Like, I get why they're doing it, because they don't want that bike to dominate, and I don't think that the bike could dominate just yet. Even
if you let them unlimited
if you
power.
gave them factory everything, it's still not. You're still not going to be able to win an outdoor national for sure, because you're not going to have the juice. Yeah. And Supercross, you'd have a better shot, but not having a gearbox in the whoops, like there's things that the electric bike does that kill gas bikes. Like, it's so nice and it's so much better, but then there's things that gas bikes do way better than electric bikes. And the gearbox, the clutch, all that kind of stuff. If you're a C-level rider, you're going to get on the Stark and be like way faster than you are on a 450 or a 250, because you don't know how to use all the tools that we have on the bike. But then when you take those tools away from a guy like, Vince Freese or myself or anybody, that you have to learn to adapt to that, and you have to, maybe you could in the right setting be faster on that bike, but not having a clutch, not having a gearbox, not having all those tools like that we've learned to hone and use to our advantage, like coming around hitting 4th gear for a set of whoops, or just all the things that we've learned to do. Taking that away kind of hurts, and not being like, when you come into a set of whoops and they're all gnarled out and like rutted up and screwed up, and you can't put it in 5th gear, and you just have to have your 4th gear or whatever and kind of lug it and like snap it across, with the throttle kind of control, like bop, 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 bop. You have to just hold that thing wide open and let that rear wheel spin at about 120 miles per hour. And then there's no gearbox, there's no inertia still pulling that motor forward. It's just a little electric engine that's getting all of its juice off of a battery. So it has no weight to move the bike forward.
Okay,
so every time you hit a whoop, it kind of like hiccups the bike.
I always thought 80 horsepower, it should go across whoops better. But I see what you're saying, because you don't have the weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
If the whoops are smooth, and you can, or if you're just an absolute savage that wants to just come around the corner and hold it wide open, like, I bet you Bubba, if you put him on one of those things,
would be amazing.
He'd probably do some wild stuff and show everybody that it actually is the best bike in the whoops. Yeah. But unless you have that type of commitment level,
Pastrana style.
Yeah, Pastrana could probably make it work. What I'm trying to say is, and I'm not trying to bash on any, like, I love what they're doing. They're like, the bikes are insane. It's one of my favorite bikes in the world to ride. Just the racing aspect of it, you're never going to make anybody happy.
No.
Because if you make the bike to its potential and you start actually winning, then every other manufacturer is going to complain, and then next year they're going to make your bike slower or heavier or something. So
I agree. I just think that there's potential, like you said, up in the Northwest, and I didn't realize you guys had so many indoor places, but particularly like if you go Midwest, Northeast, it's freezing freaking cold. So the problem with having an indoor place is you've got to vent the exhaust, which means you're bringing in freezing cold air. You wouldn't have to do that with these. You could have an indoor facility and have a game room and music playing, and like, it could be sick.
You could take the go-kart style thing and have tracks, near malls that are, like a supermoto track with, minimal jumps, but something enough to where you and your buddies on a Saturday night, even if you're a pro level guy, wants to go see if you're faster on this track, and your lap times stay up on. Just take that same model, because those things are so inexpensive in comparison. Like even if it's like a Sur-Ron or one of those type mid-size bikes, anybody can have fun on them. No emissions, no smoke, just put it in the warehouse, call it a day. Like you said, bring in arcade games and a snack shack and show the top time of the week. Yeah. And I think you would gain because I feel like most people don't get into motocross by chance. It's like you either have like a good friend or a family member or a dad or somebody shows you the ropes of motocross. Like I don't think that many people just walk into their local bike shop and say, give me a 450 without having anybody to lead them. And I think that you start opening up, just making it more feasible for anybody just to go ride. Yeah. I think will help grow the sport.
The one thing about go-karts, right, is everyone drives a car. And even if you don't, it's easier to kind of figure that out, right? But if you had some girl show up who's like 14, she's like, I've never ridden, but this looks fun. It's like, that's kind of sketchy, right? She whiskey throttles straight into a wall.
Yeah, I've got some ideas. I've drawn out actually a lot of stuff. I've thought about this a lot. Yeah. And I think now with like the Air Metal, I don't know if you ever heard of that. It's like a company that they do all like the stuff with the blow-ups around Supercross.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you could get an inflatable wall that they crash into. You can detune the bikes. You could maybe you got to do it one day, or your first time you got to get certified or something. Yeah. I mean, there's ways that you could do it, but I think you just make something real bare bones, basic, with a couple little areas where you can get your wheels off the ground if you wanted to, and start introducing it to people, because you're gonna have to learn somehow. How we got to grow it somehow.
Do it. Make the first one, dude. We'll be the first. We'll come up and do a whole freaking piece on it. I want to see it happen. What advice do you give Justin, as a guy who's won in the premier class and been at that very highest level? Like, what are you telling him?
Stay focused. Like, he is. I don't think there's anybody on the line better than him as far as skill level. I think there's just guys that are more prepared. So. And I think he knows that in his heart too. So I think when he's feeling good and he's feeling prepared, I don't think he fears anybody out there. And I think he rides really good. And I think that he's just got to get all of his ducks in a row. And luckily for him, he's gone through his career relatively unscathed, other than when he was with that Partzilla team. He had a part break on a jump face, and he destroyed his shoulder. Mm-hmm. And then he did his knee when he was an amateur. Like, had to get it. So obviously he's recovered from that. Yeah. So besides that, he's never really had any injuries. So he could probably still have a couple more. I mean, I tell him if he wants to bad enough, he like his best years are still in front of him. Like,
I think he had his best year ever last year on the big bike.
He started that way. It started good, and then I don't know. He kind of had some issues towards the end, but yeah, in the beginning, I mean, he's riding good.
I thought he was impressive. Yeah. I'm anxious to see how he goes this year.
Yeah.
Tell me about what do your next 5 to 10 years look like? Where do you see yourself?
I see myself around motorcycles. What exactly I'm gonna do, and I don't know. I really enjoy building tracks. I'm pretty good at it. So in the next few years, I'm trying to kind of assemble a good setup on equipment and a good ways to transport it. And I really enjoy doing that kind of stuff. And then also, I'm probably going to veer towards construction. I realized that I've got like a knack for that kind of stuff, and I enjoy it. I think I feel better working. I feel better at the end of the day when I've worked all day. Yeah. Like, I get a better feeling than sitting around and typing. Yeah. So I'm probably going to do something that gets my hands dirty, and I'll probably work with kids, training a little bit. I don't know exactly where I'm going to end up, but that's definitely something that I want to.
So you don't see yourself going back to Monster? Like, the desk job is just kind of.
if the opportunity arose and they needed me in there, or they had a spot that they would like for me to fill, then I would love to. The guys there, Mitch Covington and Dave Gallen, and the guys that I work with directly, and Cody Dresser on the action sports side, like they're some of the coolest people I've ever got to be around, and just they're good people. They take care of their guys. And
Dave and Mitch are great. I don't know the other folks there too well, but those are two really good guys.
Yeah, I owe a lot of my happiness and the things that I've got to take in, the places I've got to take my career to those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about family? You're married. How long have you guys been married? A couple years?
3 years.
Okay.
Yeah, I got married in 2022. Yep.
Any plans for kids, or what's your thoughts there?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so. Yeah. I know Justin's got kids, and I can tell it's a lot of work, but I think it looks fulfilling for sure.
Yeah.
I love those little.
There's
slurps.
There's nothing like it, dude. When it is a ton of work, and sometimes you're like, what have we done? But
yeah,
I don't think there's anything in your life will be as fulfilling as that,
Yeah, and I've had to kind of reset and restructure myself financially a few different times. You run into some issues in this line of work. It's a little bit volatile. You'll think you've got everything worked out, and then you get thrown a curveball. And so luckily I've been working real hard to get all that stuff set in place. So when we do have a family, I'll be a lot more.
Does she like North Carolina, your wife?
My wife's from there.
Oh, she's from there. That's why you're there.
Yeah, so I was out visiting Justin when he was on JGR and ended up crossing paths with her. And then I started going back to hang out with Justin a lot more. And
suddenly
suddenly
want to hang out with bro a lot.
Yeah. Then I moved back there, and I really enjoy it. She's got
So do you like North Carolina?
I do. Yeah, I really like it. I think it's got the best weather in the country, honestly. Like, you get all 4 seasons. I think it's got the best dirt in the country. I wish there was more free riding. There's really not a lot out there. You can sneak onto some sand pits and some things like that. So
it's all privately owned. Huh?
Yeah, it's all privately owned. So if you do find something good, you either got to know the guy or you're, probably not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So but I love it. I just come out here. I try to make it to where I can come to California for like a month or 2 out of the year in the winter when it's like prime time.
Come in January when the rain's coming, and
that's yeah. If I get like 2 weeks a year out in the hills here, I could scratch my itch and I'm good. Yeah.
Do you what do you guys do for fun? I mean, if you're not working or whatever, what do you guys go and do for fun?
For me or me and my wife.
Well, both.
I love mountain biking. Like, I wish I would have gotten into it way earlier, but I love mountain biking. I got some buddies that are really good, and that's probably like the other thing outside of moto that I like. I don't really have that many hobbies outside of that. I'm either riding, editing videos, working on my dirt bike, building a track, driving to it. Like,
you're pretty locked in on that.
I'm moto as they come. And then my wife, I don't know, she was a college volleyball player, like had a full ride scholarship to play volleyball in college. And then she's worked in real estate and just been in marketing in a lot of areas. So she still works with a couple of companies running their social media and stuff. So she gets to travel with me a lot. And I think we just we play tennis a little bit. Like, we sneak out. I mean, I suck. I can't hardly walk. So like but I've found that like I can kind of run in short bursts without like my ankle killing me.
Okay.
So that's kind of been fun, but because she's got she's got a sports background and she can pretty much beat me every time we play tennis. Like, she'll just put the ball like where she knows I can't run.
Yeah.
Like,
what a bitch.
Don't say that.
Watch me just tap this over here. She's just watching you run left to right.
Yeah, she gets me good, and I can see it in her eyes before she hits it. And then I'll get her. I get her on the electric bikes too, because none of them have. They don't have. Clutch, gearbox, all those things that I like. They don't have them, so she can jump on any of these Surons or Starks or Altas, and like when we first started dating, I was taking her up in the hills, like behind California when I still lived, or behind Lake Elsinore when I still lived in California, and I could get her to climb hills on an Alta that my buddies would struggle with, that like have ridden, just because they have such good traction.
Yeah.
Like it was the first time riding.
Wow.
So I've tried to introduce her into two wheels. She's into it, but not as into it as me, obviously.
Yeah.
And we play games. We play Wii. Like we battle like basically anything. She's super competitive and I am too. So
that's awesome.
We battle at everything. It's fun.
That's good, man. Good wife's hard to find. So congrats.
Thank you.
Well, dude, I appreciate all the time you took for this, man. And we ask everybody the last same question, and that's how you want to be remembered in the sport.
I guess I just want to be remembered as a guy that loved two wheels and did my best to treat everybody correctly. You know, like I don't want to burn anybody. That's the one thing I try not to do.
Yeah.
Try to be a man of my word, and I just try to spread love on two wheels. Have fun. Like these, you know, you get so locked into racing, and you know when things go wrong and you don't get the factory ride, or you get, you know, you got to realize how fun this is and what got us to this point. So just enjoy two wheels. Enjoy it with your friend, even if they're not the fastest guy. Still take them to the track and go have fun with them. It don't matter if my buddies are C riders, D riders, or the best of the best. I usually have fun riding with them no matter what.
I think the older you get too, that you start to pick up on all that. Like, man, I really lost focus of why I ride motorcycles, you know, because especially when it becomes a job there for a while, you forget the fun, you know, and they are a blast, man. There's nothing like it. I can't quit.
Highest of highs, lowest of lows. Yeah, it's the best. It's
the best and the worst.
Exactly.
I love it and I hate it.
Same.
Well, dude, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm such a fan, and always stoked to see what you're coming out with next. So logged out,
yeah, coming out soon. And
by the time this drops, it'll be out. So go check it out.
Probably, yeah. Go check it out.
Well, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate it, and hopefully we can get out and ride together.
Let's do it.
Okay. Stick around, guys. We'll be right back to wrap up the show. Hope you guys enjoyed that show with Josh Hill. Such an incredible life story. And like I mentioned to him, just always impressed with how he does things the way he wants to do them. He's not going to be pressured by other people, sometimes to his own detriment, but I think most people probably wouldn't have worried about a backflip when they're winning Supercross races and at that high of a level. But, you know, he wanted to do what he wanted to do, and he's carved a career path for himself, and he's just a great dude all the way around. He and his brother both. So stoked to hear his story. This is our last show for 2025, and I just want to say a big thank you to all you guys who support this show, whether you watch or listen. We appreciate it. I really enjoy bringing these to you guys, and I think that there's a lot of good stories to tell. We are going to be, having said that, making some changes to the format and the look of the show in 2026, so I'm anxious for you guys to see that. The format will change a touch. It will be the same sometimes, but we're going to kind of add some flexibility so that we can bring in current racers and repeat guests, and be able to still chat with those guys about more topical things. So it'll just open up who we can have on. So I think you guys will appreciate it and like it once we get rolling. And as always, please support the folks that support this show. We couldn't bring this to you without them. And so we definitely make sure we're not promoting trash products. If we are supporting them and promoting them, it means that they are elite level companies and products. And so you can trust going to those websites or wherever and picking that stuff up. So thanks for doing that. Thanks for always supporting what we do, guys. And Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys in 2026.
Yamaha is the industry leader in two-wheeled fun and performance. Celebrating 50 years of YZ in 2024, the Blue Crew is still dominating shootouts and competitions. Yamaha, revs your heart.
Troy Lee Designs is the leader in off-road motocross apparel and style. So whether you're looking for a cool new paint job for your helmet, maybe your name and number on your helmet lettered on, you're looking for new gear, you're looking for mountain bike gear, off-road gear. They've got the brand new Scout line and GP and SE models. Troy Lee Designs has it all. They've been leading this industry for decades, and they're going to continue to do it. Check out TroyLeeDesigns.com. Throttle Show, we're all about supporting brands that support our sport. And there's one tire company that has never walked away from the sport of motocross and supercross, and it's Dunlop. When times got tough and the economy took a crash, Dunlop stepped up and stayed with our sport to support it and the athletes and individuals that love it. Their MX-53 line and MX-33 lines absolutely dominate this sport. Every national championship at the pro level has been won in the last decade, and nearly every single amateur national championship at Loretta Lynn's has been won on a Dunlop. So if you're looking for high performance, you're looking for amazing quality, and you're looking to support a brand that never turns its back on our sport, there's only one choice for you, and it's Dunlop. All right, Whiskey Throttle fam, we've got a sponsor here that I want to really encourage you guys to try, Element. If you haven't seen this stuff before, give them a check out on our Instagram bio. You can get in there. We've got a link that will give you free samples. You can go in and try this stuff. And this delivers just the right amount of electrolytes that you need when you're competing at all, especially if it's midsummer, humid, think Loretta Lynn's, Nationals. You're sweating like crazy. This is the best way to replenish it, okay? Straight water is just going to flush more electrolytes out of your body, cause more cramping. You've got to get the electrolytes back in. This Element provides it in the perfect package with 0 sugar. It is vegan, keto, paleo-friendly, gluten-free. This is the perfect product for athletes or those pretending to be athletes. So it was designed by Rob Wolf. This guy is a crazy smart dude working in the science field. Was developing for his own use in athletics, and he came up with the perfect formula. This stuff's awesome. This right here, the citrus salt, is my favorite. Of course, you can get it in a sample pack like this where you can try some different flavors, watermelon, orange, raspberry. Great stuff. Cannot recommend this enough. If you are racing, even at a local level, and sweating at all, which, come on, we all do on a dirt bike, you've got to have some of this stuff to replenish it right. Give it a try. Like I said, go to our bio on Instagram. You can find a discount code or a link that takes you directly to there, and we'll give you a free sample. Check it out. You're not going to want to miss that. Support these guys. They are fans of the sport, and we are so stoked to be partnered with them. Element is an incredible product that I use exclusively, and I'm so proud to have them part of the Whiskey Throttle Show. Pro Circuit is the leader in aftermarket performance and quality. Whether you're looking for a little more horsepower out of your engine, some quality hard parts to improve the way your bike feels and looks, better handling through suspension or linkage arms, Pro Circuit is where you need to stop. It's your one-stop shop. You can go in there and get everything you need to make your motorcycle go from average to exceptional. Pro Circuit's got enough number 1 plates on their wall to side an entire home, and there's a reason for that. They're very, very good at what they do. The highest quality products with one goal in mind, and that's winning. Check out ProCircuit.com. If you are in the market for a new vehicle, look no further than Toyota of Redlands. You've got to support a brand that is supporting motocross big time. At the amateur level, pro level, they are part owners in the Bar X Yamaha Racing Team. They support a ton of riders individually, and they support us here at Whiskey Throttle Media. And I'll tell you what, the facility up there in Redlands is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful. The folks are friendly. They're professional. And if you've never owned a Toyota, you got to give it a try. It is the only brand that I'll drive anymore. If you're buying, there's nothing more reliable, nothing that holds its resale value better. And the folks at Toyota of Redlands are just they still remember what customer service is. I guess that's all I really need to say. Incredibly friendly, professional, and just talented staff up there. We're stoked to have them a part of the show. If you see the Whiskey Throttle truck around here, the Toyota of Redlands Tundra, give us a wave and a honk. But man, just so stoked to have these guys on board. Like I said, anybody like that that's getting involved and supporting the sport, we just want to push as many people as we can to them because those folks are rare, and especially when they have an incredible product and provide an incredible service. So get up to Toyota of Redlands, California. If you're anywhere in southern United States, southwest United States, it's worth the drive. Get over there, check those guys out. Tell them the Whiskey Throttle Crew sent you. On-switch device, something that was much needed in this sport. They've been innovating and bringing new products to market. Their latest is the new Nihilo Run Cool brake pistons. They're designed to be stronger than stock and provide exceptional cooling performance with less brake drag. Most OEM calipers pistons are made from aluminum that just can't hold up to the heat and extreme demands of serious racing. When they get hot, the aluminum will distort, causing loss of hydraulic pressure and brake failure. Nihilo's Run Cool pistons limit the area that boiling hot hydraulic fluid is able to come in contact with the piston, leaving 2/3 of the piston volume in open air with breather holes to enhance the cooling ability. It's made of a proprietary stainless blend, which is better at dissipating heat. You have issues with brake fade or brake failure, check out Nihilo Concepts among their many amazing hard parts and carbon fiber parts and titanium. NihiloConcepts.com. Seat Concepts is the leader in motorcycle saddles. If you're looking for a new cover or a new seat entirely, Seat Concepts is the place to go. They make custom seat foams catered to your height, weight, riding ability, riding type. They also have waterproof covers and foams that will not break down if you ride in a lot of inclement weather. And they pride themselves on being much more comfortable than OEM or any other aftermarket company. If you're looking for a new seat or a new cover, Seat Concepts, there's nothing better. Guys, I want to introduce you to Rockform, and a sponsor of the Whiskey Throttle Show here that has just been blowing my mind with their products. They've got all kinds of, started as phone cases. This is their rugged phone case here that I've got, which is just bulletproof. You could throw this thing out of an airplane, probably pick it up and be just fine. And on the back here, everything is magnetic, so it'll just stick to anything metallic, obviously. But this little locking device you've got in the back, this bolts onto handlebar mounts, car mounts, adhesive mounts, magnetic mounts, and it does not come off. It is locked in. I have no fear that my phone is going to pop off a handlebar on a street bike ride. And then I like the little sport ring they've got. They've got all kinds of devices that pop in here, but this thing acts as a stand. If you want to sit this thing up and watch something on your phone or work on it, just absolutely incredible. And this is magnetic as well. All kinds of amazing products, guys, for your phone. Kind of that's their primary function. They also have the G-Rock speaker. This is basically made for golf, and you just stick it to the frame of your golf cart and get after it. Got great tunes all day long. So a ton of products, but check out our boys at Rockform. These guys are killing it. I'm so stoked to be partnered with this brand. You know, we really pride ourselves on partnering with elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look at elite brands, really, really high-level companies, and Rockform is right on cue. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, air filters. If it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. And they've got some new things coming that are awesome. A complete engine rebuild kits for the Polaris RZR 800s. Need to replace something on your bike that's worn out? Look no further than ProX. These guys aim to make everything OEM quality or better at an affordable price. And they've also got some new products coming. So right now, chains, sprockets, anything inside the engine internally, if it wears out, ProX makes it, and they make it at a quality level that's OEM or better. All right, so you had a tip over in the garage or at the track and you broke your lever off. What are you going to do? Go to Arc Levers, guys. They're the only people you need to check out in this space. Arc Levers, everything manufactured right here in the United States to craftsman precision. The stuff is awesome. Whether you're looking for an entire clutch perch with maybe a bigger wheel, they make the wheel super easy to find and adjust. Or maybe you just want replacement levers. They do that as well. Anything you're after, they can change the throw, the feel, everything you want. Custom. They can make them feel different, look different colors. These guys are dialed, man. They've got all kinds of cool products. If you haven't been over to Arc Levers and seen what they've got, check them out. These guys are being run by factory Honda. If they're good enough for Jet Lawrence, I think you and I can probably make them work. The Star Racing Yamaha team, a lot of factory riders running them for good reason. They're the best products in the business. Check out Arc Levers. The Whiskey Throttle Show is presented by Motosport.com. It doesn't matter if you like to pull a throttle cable on a dirt bike, street bike, side-by-side. Motosport.com is putting riders first with parts, gear, and accessories, including some of our partners like Troy Lee Designs, Dunlop, Pro Circuit, and more. They offer first returns free on apparel so you can buy with confidence. And Motosport.com offers fast, free shipping on all orders over $79. Make your next ride your best ride. Visit Motosport.com. If you're considering a facelift for your dirt bike, look no further than TBD MX. TBD MX offers fully customizable graphics. Whatever you want to put on there, it's up to you. You're the boss. You want a military theme? No problem. Give them an idea of what you're after and they'll make it. You want to put unicorns on there? Well, that's super weird, but he'll do it for you anyway. They use the highest quality materials cut to the exact die lines for easy installation, which, if you've ever put graphics on, you know is important. No bubbles, no creases. They fit perfectly. And they offer fast service and shipping, so you're not waiting around forever to get your bike dialed in. So stop looking like a dork at the track. Go to tbdmx.com and get yourself dialed in with a set of graphics that you want, with your sponsors and the things you want to see on it. TBDMX, making the best graphics in motocross, and the Whiskey Throttle Media crew and the Whiskey Throttle Show is stoked to be partnered with TBDMX. Follow them on Instagram, give them a follow, and follow along with all of our bike builds as we feature the TBDMX graphics on all our builds. Every good podcast show has got to have an underwear sponsor, right? Well, we went right to the top, Ethica. These guys make the best underwear. If you haven't tried a pair, you don't know what you're missing. Your life hasn't even started yet. So try a pair of Ethicas on. Go to Ethica.com. Use our code WHISKEY20. Get you 20% off. And give all of your nether regions a break, man. It's vacation time for the boys. These things are comfortable. You're riding. Your butt's not going to get all chafed. These things are awesome. And guess what? They don't just make underwear. No. Tees, hats, beanies, sweatshirts, shorts for kids, ladies, toddlers, old people, everybody. You name it. They make them. You know what else they make? Moto gloves. I didn't even know that. I just found it out. So get over to Ethica.com. Check them out. These guys are awesome. Whiskey20. Use our code. Don't cheat me now. Get 20% off and put your buns in the best undies around. Ethica.com. All right, the sun is shining. That means you guys need to find yourself a good pair of sunglasses and look no further than Rockwell. These guys are making some incredible shades right now. They're all designed here in the USA, made in Italy. Very, very high-end craftsmanship on these things. They've got so many different models for men's and women's styles. There's floatable glasses, so if you're out on a lake, on a boat somewhere this summer, go out, find yourself a pair of the floatable ones. They've also got wireframe. They've got wraparound. Anything you're after, any style, Rockwell makes it. We are also working on a motocross goggle that is going to be insane. We are in the development stages of that. I'm helping them with that, as is Justin Hill and a couple other guys. So stay tuned for that. That's coming. They also make all kinds of casual wear. Rockwell is getting it done in all kinds of markets. But the sunglasses, whoo, these things are next level. Check them out, rockwell.com.
The inspiration for Element, interestingly, was from working with my coaches. I sat down with those guys. I'm like, hey, here's what I'm doing. What should I do? And they looked at everything and they were like, you need more electrolytes, specifically sodium. And like most people do when they have a coach, I ignored what their advice was. I'm kind of like, well, I salt my food, I'm probably good. And it took me at least a year to finally listen to these guys and do what they asked me to do. And it was just a switch flip. It was just so obvious that this was the critical missing piece to the story. And it's ironic that this salt piece was like the linchpin, the keystone to making all the rest of that work.
The Specialized Science Club introduces the Levo 4. An electric mountain bike so advanced, it borders on sorcery. Together, you and the Levo 4 become a harmonious hybrid of organic and synthetic. It's a rider-enhancing machine that transforms you into a cycling cyborg. 720 watts of power and 111 newton meters of torque, amplifying your mortal muscles, allowing you to bend space and time to your will. All channeled through futuristic suspension, with honed geometry, granting super control while traversing extreme terrain at hyper speed. With supernatural power delivery, you'll have super traction to conquer climbs where others spin out. And you'll tire, if at all, before the bike does. Thanks to the Levo 4's super range.
Thanks for checking out the Whiskey Throttle Show. If you guys liked it, be sure to like and subscribe so you get notified anytime we have a new show go up. You can also go over to whiskeythrottlemedia.com and check out all of the content, new bike builds, new bike introductions. We've got all kinds of features in the moto and off-road space, as well as all of the current Whiskey Throttle shows listed there. You can find our YouTube channel to get a complete list by season of all the shows we've done, well over 100 at this point. And also follow us on Instagram, Follow us on TikTok. Like, subscribe, comment, all that junk. We'll see you guys.